Yo, what is going on, Papa fam? It's your boy Sunny, and we are back on the channel with a banger of a build, Zillow clone. A full, complete property real estate platform. Both for the buyers, both for the agents, everything is covered in this. We've got so much amazing tech, and I've got so many cool AI things to show you guys today. So if you want to know all about that, you are in 100% in the right place. All I ask right now, if you enjoy these kind of videos, destroy that like button, because I'm about to spend 4 hours on stream with you right now. Let me know where you're watching from. We're about to go ahead and kick this into full gear with a full demo. As soon as that beat drops, we're about to jump into this one, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. This has a huge amount of tech inside of it. Next.js 16, React 19, Clerk, Sanity, all of the best stuff. And we even have Clerk Billing. Go ahead and get ready, guys. 3, 2, 1. Check it out, guys. Here we have Nestwell. Boom. Hey, we got Tampa, Florida in the house. I see you guys. Okay, guys, let's do a little demo of this entire app. And remember, it's not just a front end app. We've got the whole back end, which is a complete managed CMS backend. So this is a seriously production ready app. It's ready to go. We've even got Japan in the house. What is up, guys? Right, so quick little search as we go down. Firstly, the UI. Come on, beautiful stuff, right? Let's go down here. Everything is absolutely beautiful and stunning, professional looking. This would be pretty much, a legit kind of website. So in this case, we type in San Fran, go ahead and hit search properties. Let's have a look at what comes up. As you can see, we got 3 properties live right now. Let's go ahead and reset the filters, and then we should have a far more. There we go, guys. You guys can see right here, amazing, beautiful UI. Each property has its own attributes, its own amenities. Everything is covered in this build. We can filter by house, apartment, condo, all that stuff. Price, minimum, maximum, bedrooms, same with bathrooms. And we even have a ton more filters, and these are dynamically pulled from the back end where we set up the amenities. So we have so many cool things to cover today, right? So say we want only swimming pools, let's go ahead and apply the filters, and we should see only houses with swimming pools come up. Amazing stuff, right? Let's reset those filters for a second. And I want to show you guys also, we have Mapbox integration. This is clean as hell, guys, because now we can go ahead and click through from the map or the grid view. This is really nice. We've got modal views, beautiful modals. You guys can see for yourselves, absolutely stunning stuff. Look at this, really clean stuff, right? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and sign in. So I told you this app was not only for the buyers, but also for the agents. So let's go ahead and dive into that, right? So first things first, if I wanna contact this person, say I wanna buy this house, it's actually me, this one. Let's try and find one where I'm not the agent as well. So let's go to maybe, I don't know, Beverly Hills. Let's see if this one. And we can see I am the agent on that one at the Papa Fan Brokerage. I think it might have been one of the older ones. Let's go down over here. And by the way, pagination, really clean, right? Everything is mobile responsive. You guys know how I do it. Let's go ahead and look. Sarah Mitchell, right? Whoever that is in the world. I've seeded this data, so forgive me. Let's go ahead and sign in. We have a nested sign-in page, really clean stuff. Let's go ahead and sign in with Google using Clerk Authentication. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and let's use a new account. Let's go ahead and do my team account, because I don't believe I've upgraded this person, right? So let's go ahead and sign in right now. Check this out. Let's go ahead and let that log in. Boom. And once we're done, we are back. Okay, now you can see I can become an agent. I've got a liked tab. I have my profile tab. So first things first, let's go and check out our profile. So first things you see, we've got this nice onboarding experience. So we've even got onboarding in this entire app flow. Here, you can go ahead and give a phone number if you want to, but we're just going to complete the setup and just leave the phone number blank. Okay. Give that a quick okay. And now we have onboarded the user, so they can actually access their profile now. And you can see they can amend their user changes and all that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and let's say, for example, that house. I want to go to Denver, for example, and Robert, okay? I want to contact Robert. So I click contact agent, and now this should actually send Robert a complete contact request. So now I am a lead in Robert's agent flow, okay? So I'm going to give you a full demo of how this works, but let's take a look into it. So imagine like I'm browsing, I want to go ahead and like a property. So in this case, I can go ahead and like, and it saves to my liked. And this also opens up the native prompt window. So you guys can see right there, that actually opens up the native prompt window to share. If we went to, for example, the like tab right now, you guys can see, and also, I don't know if you guys caught that, look, save listings. Don't know if you caught that. Look at that UI. Oh, so clean. So clean. You're going to learn all about these tricks, right? Look at that. Even the way this sticks to the top, but the top is just kind of see-through. All of this stuff is so clean, right? Now, what if I want to become a real estate agent, right? I want to actually sell properties. This platform will be really useful for me, right? So in this case, we're going to go ahead and subscribe for $29 a month. So I'm going to go ahead and click on subscribe. Clerk billing comes in clutch. So here we can go ahead and pay with the test card. And as you can see, I can go ahead and sign up to become an agent. Okay. So agents need onboarding too, right? How does that work? Well, now we have access to the dashboard. We can access it through here or through here. So let's go through the dashboard and let's go ahead and take a look. So as the dashboard loads up, did I click it? I don't think I clicked it, right? So let the dashboard load up and now we have /dashboard/onboarding, right? So you guys can see here, look at this. Oh, we got Moses as well. Yo, what's good, dude? Amazing stuff. So professional bio. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say, this is going to be the, well, actually, no, I don't need that. I am the best agent on the entire planet. You should 100% buy property from me. Okay, let's go ahead and give that. I'm using Super Whisper, by the way, guys. If you do want to go ahead and use that, feel free to, okay, let's just repeat it a few times, maybe because I'm live. But if you do want to go ahead and sign up, Super Whisper, head over there, use code Sunny. The owner of that company is awesome. So shout out to him. All right, phone number, we do need a phone number. And by the way, I have got verification if we try and skip this part. So let's do 555-123-4567. True thing, that's my actual number. All right, license number ABC, and then we can give a random number. And then let's just say we are the Papa Fam brokers, right? Complete the agent setup. And now that will go ahead and onboard the user. Now, after that, we get access to the full agent dashboard. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So you guys can see on the left-hand side, we have the overview, my listing, add listing, lead inbox, agent profile, and billing. So all of that inside this build. And I haven't even talked about Sanity Studio yet. Yeah, it's big, right? So you guys can see right here, we've got the ability to create a new listing. We've got our pending leads. We can view all of our listings and we can view our lead inbox. So this is amazing for an agent. Right, so in this case, before jumping into this, I think it's better if I switch profile to one that already has a bunch of leads inside. So we're going to switch account to my other profile because I have set things up over there. By the way, if you click on the get started, it actually triggers the sign up flow. Right, so that's pretty nice as well. Right, we're going to go ahead and sign in with Sunny.Sanger because he has the right account, me. Okay, so let's go ahead and wait for that to do. And now let's go to the dashboard and you'll see for yourself how this looks, right? So now we're going to go into a dashboard of an actual seasoned agent, right? So in this case, I have 10 active properties, 20 people inquiring, and 11 of them are waiting response, right? So let's take a look at those 11 people waiting response, right? So let's go to the view leads. And now you can see it's going to load the lead inbox, right? So here we have all of our leads. These are all the people who reached out via that contact me button. Now this person can literally jump on and phone call all of these people. Once it's done, he can go ahead and say, yep, I've contacted that person. Or if, you know, let's say somebody wasn't actually serious about buying, I can go ahead and change them to closed and it will automatically filter them out as such, right? And you see, we are using Sanity Live. So what's happening here is it's updating and then it's going ahead and actually re-rendering live, right? So it's actually doing a full live synchronization the second I change it, okay? So what we want to do then is go ahead and check out our listings. So you guys can see here in my listings, wow, everyone is super locked in right now and the viewership is absolutely awesome. We've got hundreds watching across platforms. I appreciate all of you guys. This is huge, right? Make sure you destroy the like button if you like the demo so far. So what we want to do now is go ahead and have a look at our properties. So you guys can see here, I've got all of my properties, full CRUD functionality. I can edit, view, and delete. And I can go ahead and say if a house is, you know, pending or sold, this is a agent's dream. Super clean, super nice. We can click this to actually view the listing, or we can go ahead and edit the listing like I mentioned, right? So in this case, if I went to edit the listing, we can go over to the edit screen and this will throw us back into the edit flow. So now you can see we can actually go ahead and edit, upload images via Sanity Image, and you guys can see these are all the property details. But let's show you from scratch if I was going to add a listing from zero. Okay, so here, for example, if I was to go ahead and do a property title, so let's just say amazing 5-bedroom duplex, I don't know, villa, right? My brain's a bit mush, right? And say this is the best property on the planet, period. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and transcribe that in, boom. And then we've got the price, let's just say it's 9 million think that's 900,000 million, right? $9 million, right? And then it is in this case, I didn't actually add villa, but we can say it's a land, all right? It's land, right? So that's fine. And then the property images, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I haven't got any images here that I shouldn't be showing. It's all logos, honestly. But let's go ahead and use something like, just for the demo, I'm gonna use a crystal ball. Don't ask why I have this crystal ball. I have been messing with OpenClaw quite a lot. ClaudeBot, if you know, you know. Check out my Instagram. I've literally showed you how to go ahead and get secure and set up with that. But let's go ahead and add this right here. All right, so we can add images. We can actually add a couple of images. So let's go ahead and just put in, for example, let's do something like, let me just check what these are. Okay, I mean, this is a table that I might be buying, for example, a custom table for the Papa Fam office. So you guys can see here, we can actually drag the images over. So we have React drag and drop support as well. Let's say it was a 5-bedroom house, villa. It's got 3 bathrooms, right? Or let's just say it was like, you know, they usually have like more. So 7 bathrooms, square footage, just to say, I don't know, 9,000 or something. And the year built, let's just go ahead and say it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. There's a swimming pool, a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to tick a couple of these just to go ahead and show you. And then the property address. This is the really cool part. We use Mapbox to get this thing working. So 123, let's just type in Main Street, for example. And then let's just go, sorry if you live here, it's just a demo. And then I'll go ahead and grab your address and it will pre-populate on the map, right? Then we go ahead and simply click on the create listing button. That will go ahead and create a listing for the user, Sunny. And now that agent can go ahead and, you know, push it out. It's going to be live on the website and everything is going to be visible for the users to see. So we can go ahead and check it out ourselves. We're going to check this out on the dashboard in just a second, but let's go to the agent profile for a sec. And here we can see we have the agent profile, right? So you can go ahead and customize things here, as well as the billing. So this is using Clerk's billing to go ahead and, you know, you can from here, you can change your subscription. So we can go from the agent plan, cancel it, check out our statements, our invoices, our payments, and all that good stuff, right? So I'm going to show you how to build all of this in just a sec. But I want to go ahead and see if we can actually find that property on the marketplace, right? So let's go ahead and type in, I forgot what it was called, but it was like 5-bedroom something, right? So search properties. Okay, it wasn't 5-bedroom. Oh, that's city or zip code. What am I doing? All right, there we go. Amazing 5-bedroom villa. Okay, so there we have it. We have our, you know, first picture and the second one, which is this right here. Perfect stuff. And then you have me, and I can go ahead and contact the agent through that link. I can go ahead and heart it, and as you can see, all of that data has been passed in beautifully and rendered out. This is the Zillow clone. It is a dialed in, huge clone. Guys, this is going to be an absolutely huge one. Make sure you got your coffees ready because this is just, yeah, there's going to be a lot inside today's build. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just need to pop up one thing on my screen. I actually usually can see something, but they've changed my view. So I can't actually see the like count anymore, which is interesting. But Jay, if you can give me updates on the like, then that would help me out. And while you're at it, guys, just smash that like button. It helps out a ton. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. All right, so you guys can see for yourselves, this is the full build, right? Now, where is all this data stored? Well, we have Sanity Studio. Sanity Studio is immensely powerful. It's absolutely awesome. And as you can see here, we have our property, agents, leads, our users, and the amenities, right? So that bedroom that we just went ahead and, that amazing 5-bedroom villa that we just went ahead and created, you guys can see here, we've got an amazing 5-bedroom villa, the slug that it loads on, the description, price, property type, all of this is schemaed up inside of Sanity. We use Sanity's live content lake to ensure that we have live by default behavior. And then we even have some really cool stuff such as the image hosting, the amenities, which are pulling from our amenity list over here. And we have reference fields such as the agent. So from this agent, I can actually click in, see that agent and modify his details as well. So not only have we built a full platform for buyers, but we've also built a full platform for the agents. And on top of all of that, we've built a full admin panel by using Sanity Studio. This is what you call a full build, period, right? And like I said, from this build, you can go ahead and deploy and you'll literally be able to run this as a app right now. Okay, so this is literally a full production app ready to go. It's absolutely crazy what we've done here, right? And I'm going to show you how you can seed, test user data. Everything, by the way, in today's video is for free. free. So I've gone ahead and included all of the code. All you have to do in the link, there's a link in the description right now. Go ahead and find it and it will take you to this form over here, right? So firstly, thank you for watching the video. Amazing stuff. You go ahead and pop your name and your email, hit submit, and we will send you access to the GitHub form. So on that next page after that screen, you'll reach this page right here, guys, and you'll have access to the entire GitHub repo. We have a nice little link over here, which will take you back to this page in case you ever get lost. And then what you need to go ahead and do is git clone this before you get started. Now, please, 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 all I ask is that while we jump into this app, make sure, guys, you sign up through the links in the description or the links in the GitHub, because it tells our amazing sponsors, Clerk and Sanity, that you guys are coming from us, and that allows me to do more of this stuff for absolutely free. Okay. With that said, let's dive into the tech stack, right? So let's dive into the tech stack. What does this consist of? Well, firstly, we have Clerk. Clerk is an incredible platform, handles the authentication, handles the billing, and they've got incredible MCP server connectivity right now, which we're going to cover today as well as Sanity. So both of them are absolutely incredibly easy to implement inside your build, right? All of that authentication hassle, we have no reason to go ahead and ever complain again, because Clerk handle every single thing that you can see on the screen right now. Magic link, session, multi-factor authentication, all of it is covered, right? We have multi-tenancy support. We do this for our own B2B SaaSes, and then of course subscription billings, right? It's so nice to just finally have a service where we can just pop it in, it handles the billing, and I can focus on building the single thing I care about, the app. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using Clerk for today. And then we have Sanity. Now, Sanity has become my favorite for CMS platforms, period. We use them a ton in our own startups. And as you can see here, the content operating system, right? So it's more than just a CMS layer. Now they've started to add in so many cool things. It's a flexible headless CMS layer, right? We have interactive visual editing, which I've done in some of the builds, where they now have a content agent, which is really, really powerful as well. So really, really, truly right now in the comment section or in the live chat, let me know, who is your favorite, service provider? We've got Clerk, we've got Sanity, we've got these amazing providers in the space. Who is your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below, right? Without further ado, let's dive into the tech stack. So first thing I want to do is open up a easel. I actually really quite like this. And lots of you ask me all the time, Arc, right? What is this browser called? It's called the Arc browser. So today's tech stack, right? Let's dive into this right now. I'm going to go ahead and just move a few things around. So we got Sanity, nice. People are loving it. Okay. So what I want to do right now is dive into the tech stack. So we've got Next.js 16. We have React 19, of course. And then we have a few extras. Obviously, we are using Cursor today to code. So if you're interested in coding with something like Cursor, then this is the place for you. And of course, not Cursor, but for Opus 4.6 was just released yesterday. And about 15 minutes later, give or take whoever it was first, but Codex, GPT Codex 5.3, I believe it is at this point in time, was also released. So I know that 4.6 is inside of Cursor. I don't know if 5.3 is inside of Cursor yet. But either way, you guys have access to it. And I'm going to demo it today on max mode. So you're going to see the full potential of that and what it can do. We, of course, have Clerk in the mix, and we, of course, have Sanity. Sanity is our CMS layer. Clerk is going to be amazing for our authentication and our billing layers, okay? Now, of course, we don't cut any corners. We're going to be using TypeScript all the way through and through, so that way our code is protected. Now, with Sanity, you have schemas that we were writing, and I showed you guys. So with Sanity, we're actually going to be using their typegen. Typegen's awesome because it allows us to ensure that we have our types correctly locked in, right? Now, after that, we have Mapbox to go ahead and render out those maps. We are going to be using Biome for our linting to make sure our code is super clean. When we're styling things, we are using Tailwind CSS, and then the design library behind it, Shadcn. Okay, so as you can see just from here, so much in the mix, right? Now, these two amazing companies have released incredible MCP platforms, right? So servers. So in this case, we have two incredible MCPs as well that I'm going to show you how to go ahead and connect something like Cursor to an MCP server today, right? So you're going to go ahead and forgive my amazing drawings, but we're going to go ahead and show you how you can go ahead and connect things like Cursor over to the MCPs today, right? Now, of course, where we have the billing component, what's beautiful about Clerk is that the billing actually does go through Stripe. However, if you don't have Stripe in your country and you wanted to still build this as like a project, then you don't have to worry about anything, guys. just by using Clerk's Billing, you get a gateway, which is literally a one-click setup to test your payment flow. So that's absolutely awesome. Hey, we have Tatiana in our Dubai. Hey, what's up? Right, so this is what we're going to be covering today, right? All of this in the mix, and of course, Sanity Studio, how to get your studio up and running. It's going to be a huge build. So buckle up, have your coffee. Let's dive right in. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spin the app up on a separate port, so that way we can actually make sure we can still access everything. That's going to take a few settings that I need to do afterwards, so we can probably skip that until later. But what I want you to do first step is go ahead and open a fresh terminal, okay? So in this case, I've got a fresh terminal over here. And what I want you to do is, typically I like to put in documents builds, but we're going to use the following. So I'm going to say npx create next app. And then in this case, you guys can see here. So npx create next app at latest, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and call this one the real estate app YouTube. Okay, real estate app YouTube. And let's go ahead and spin that up. And then we're going to get, of course, asked a couple of questions. So in this case, do you want to use this? Do you want to use that? So we want to use, let's do customize. I'll show you guys what I have. TypeScript, Biome, React Compiler, Tailwind CSS, no, yes, no. And that's the default that I use, okay? By using npx or using pm DLX, you're going to make sure that you get the latest create next app. So that way you're covered. But of course, at the time that you're going ahead and doing this build, you might have a different version. So I'll show you my package.json so you know what dependencies I have versus what you have. But of course, the code is actually available, right? So remember, you can actually just go ahead and use that. That was interesting, generating root types. That was new. So in this case, let's cd into that. And let's type in cursor dot to open it up, right? Hey, Tatiana is now in the Pop Fam special tier. What is up? We also had the Marine from Texas join the special tier. So we've got 2 members inside the OG circle. So welcome, right? Let's go ahead and bring this a bit bigger now. And you can see we do have Opus. Oh, okay. We have Opus 5.2 at the moment at the time of this recording. So I guess 5.3 isn't there yet, but Opus 4.6 in normal mode is a context window of 200K. In max mode, of course, it's going to cost you more, but it's going to be 1 million for the context window. Okay. And basically the way it works is after 200,000 tokens, it's going to be 2x on the request cost. Okay. So what you need to make sure you do with that in mind is split your sessions up. So you don't keep one session for the longest amount of time. Otherwise, you're just going to get built up for no reason unless it's a single job that you need that long one for. Okay. So to spin up this app, we're going to go ahead and pop open our terminal and we're going to do pm dev. Okay. And of course, you can see this spins up our local browser on 3001. Now, in this case, that's fine for now, but we actually want to do it on 3000. So what I am going to do at this point is I'm going to kill my other one running and I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to do Command J, Command C, pm dev to start again. And also before that, you can see I've got a package lock. That means I'm using npm dependencies, right? npm, sorry, to install my dependencies. I'm going to delete my package lock and I'm going to do pm-i. And this is actually going to install pm-i instead, which is handle my dependencies via pm, which is much better for me. All right. So next up, we're going to do pm dev. And now this will spin up on 3000. It will open up the cursor browser by default, typically. Right. I've got a few lock. That's fine for now anyway. Right. So now what I want to do is get my workstation ready. So I like to have my demo stuff on the left side and this on the right. We're going to basically bring this to full speed and then go over here. Cool. So what I want to do is I'm going to run the other app on 3001. So we do have a demo running at all times. That way we can use that demo. Okay. That will probably fail actually. Oops, that's my school community. Feel free to join that if you want. Oh, come on. I hate it when it does this. I think we're going to have to do 3001 in the new. Logo 3001. There we go. Okay. And yeah, there you have it. So this is the full app. And of course, this right now. Okay, that's all good actually. All right, head back over here. And yeah, Jay just put it there first. Actually, that's a very good point. So Sammy Texos says, I'm just a beginner. Don't worry if you're a beginner. I'm going to break it down on how you can leverage AI to actually do a self-learning loop. So basically you can learn in the process of getting the app built. So it's going to help you out a ton. And if of course you do find it too stressful, then I do have something for you. Go ahead and head over to popreact.com/course and join our community, Zero to Full Stack Hero. And the reason why I say you should join now more than ever is because if you join now, we will be launching an incredibly powerful community very shortly. If you go ahead and join up now, when that community launches, which is all about AI coding, by the way, you want to be there because we are literally doing things which we never thought were possible right now. We're going to give every single member a Zero to Full Stack Hero lifetime 50% off, and it's a monthly situation. So you guys will literally be losing out if you don't get this right now. PuppyReact.com/course. Make sure you go check it out. Right. So we're going to keep this on this screen for now, and then let's go ahead and get this up and running. Right. So first step is I want you to go and set up the following accounts. Right. We need two things. We need to have Clerk set up and we need to have Sanity set up. If you go to the link in the description for Clerk, you will now find this right here. This is my personal Clerk link. Go through it, please, because it allows Clerk to know that you came from us. That's a big deal because it allows us to basically go ahead and carry on building these for free, right? We're going to go ahead and log into our account. So Google, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop in my personal. Now, once this is done, we are going to see, yep, there we go. Oh, nice, user activity report, nice. Cool, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new application. For you, you'll just by default maybe land on this page. So I'm gonna call this one the Real Estate app, Real Estate Platform. And then we're gonna go ahead and enable email and Google by default. We're gonna keep it fairly simple, okay? Now, here's the awesome part. So you can see we've got the quick start prompt, quick start guide for our, to give our LLM to go ahead and get it set up. But before we do that, I wanna do one extra step. Right. What I want to do is I want to introduce you to the Clerk MCP server. By typing in Clerk MCP, you'll land on this page right here. And then what I want you to do is actually, there's a 2 days ago page as well that got updated. Let's have a look at that one. We have skills now. Incredible. I didn't even install this one. Okay. We're going to check this as well and the Clerk MCP server. So skills are incredible because when we talk to our AI agents, typically the old way of doing it was we bloated up something like a Claude MD file if we were coding on Claude. If we were coding on Claude, or a agent file if we were coding on Cursor. And the problem was that every single chat would bring in that entire context every single time. So even if I asked it a simple question like, how was your day? It would go ahead and bring in all that additional context. We don't always need that. So in this case, skills are where they fix the day, like fix the situation, because a skill only gets pulled in when it's needed. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and install this into our platform right now. So see the dedicated guide right here. So available skills, we've got a bunch here. You see Clerk setup, Clerk custom UI. These are awesome, guys. I actually really like that they just did this 2 days ago. So I'm going to install this into our app right now. So let's go ahead and grab that. Command J. I'm going to go ahead and open a new terminal. So that one is still running in the background. I'm going to hide my sidebar. MPX, or you can do MPX, or MPX is fine for now. Skills add, and then it says okay to proceed. Yes. So you can see, look, it's going to install the following skills. So I want Clerk for the authentication router, Clerk custom UI, very nice. Clerk Next.js patterns, yes. Clerk orgs, that's really handy for B2B actually. Clerk setup, testing, and webhooks. You might as well just install them all, guys, okay? Hit okay, and then you select which platform you're using. So in this case, I'm using Cursor, so it's going to install it into Cursor skills. And of course, they support tons and tons of different platforms. So let's go ahead and hit okay. And then we've got two options, either project or globally. Now for this one, I'm going to put in the project just so you guys can understand what's going on. Then we have a symlink approach and we can proceed with the installation. And as you can see, it's installed. And now I got this Cursor skills file where every single one has a skill. And as you can see, it basically teaches our LLM which packages to go ahead and use, for example. And as you can see, look, we've got the plugin as well. This is really nice, guys. And this is teaching our LLM the right and wrong things to avoid doing, right? So we've got the Cursor skills set up. That's awesome. The next one is the MCP server. Okay. So this is handy because it's effectively, it's a one-click setup if you're on Cursor. We're going to go ahead and click that right now. It's going to open up Cursor and then it's super easy to install. We go over here and as you can see, Clerk, and we've got it already, and then you click install. I've already installed it. Too many tools can degrade performance. Okay, so I have way too many things right now. So I'm going to go ahead and disable some tools over here. I don't need a couple of these. There we go. So I've disabled a couple of MCP servers. The one that we are going to use is, we don't need linear right now as well. So Clerk and Sanity are the ones that we want today. Now, enabling this, typically you might have to log in. So if you do have to log in, just simply do that. And the same goes for Sanity. So we've done on the clerk side. We'll run through the next step in a moment, but I want you to go over to the Sanity page and you should see welcome Papa Fam subscriber, right? Papa Fam is back in full force. Jay, those messages are a bit too aggressive on the live chat, so let's dial it down a little bit. And then we've got the Sunny and Sanity. This is actually one of my previous builds, but I'll update this shortly. Go ahead and click get started with the coupon, or apply coupon code Sunny at checkout, and you'll get 60 days, double the trial, right? And bear in mind, Sanity's free plan allows you to do everything that we're going to do today anyway. So go ahead and join in, and let's go ahead and type in, for example, real estate platform. This is all new music. I haven't heard this before. It's quite nice. Right, so in this case, Sunny Sanga, let's go ahead and create a project. And you see coupon code, coupon Sunny applied successfully. Okay, now let that do its thing. And then here we have the getting started guide, right? So this is really nice. Simeon's done a great job of this. So what I recommend you do at this point is you just hold the fire here, and I want you to go ahead and actually include the Sanity MCP server. So type in Sanity MCP, the first link pops up, you have it over here, and it will show you how to go ahead and install it. Now, a couple of different options. We're gonna click the add to cursor one because we're on cursor, super lazy and easy. We go over here to cursor, and then it will simply pull it in, right? So in this case, let me turn my Clawbot one off. So we have Sanity, and by the way, this will typically say authenticate. So you click authenticate, and then you'll get access to all of your different tools, okay? So now that we have that in mind, let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so we want to go ahead and firstly set up Clerk. So step one, I can actually remove some of these now, so we don't need this one anymore. We just need, oh yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to say that this is Clerk, and then this is our Sanity dashboard. All right, so it's a bit easier to remember what's going on, right? So now typically you can run through this by yourself. The only step that I would say you need to do is just grab this environment variable key file, go ahead and create a .env.local file. Okay, let's make it a bit bigger for you, and then let's paste that in, right? So obviously keep these keys private, of course. So we're gonna tap in, oh, sorry, Clerk, right? Guess I made it on time today. What's up, brand code? Good to see you. Guys, let me know where you're watching from right now. I'm super curious. I absolutely love you guys, and it's been pretty cool. Oh, guys, oh, Jay added music to the playlist. Nice. I was wondering. I was like, dude, I definitely, this is new music. Okay, so at this point, we've added that in. So this is where I want to try and use, where is this? I was on the wrong side. So next up, I want to go ahead and instead of doing the manual steps, I'm going to use the skill. Right, I could use this copy prompt, right? Or, so if I was to copy that prompt in, let's make it a bit smaller because it's a bit hard to see right now. I am on Opus 4.6 max mode, so this will be fun. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this. I see I can either paste in this script right here, or I'm curious if I could just use the script, right? So if I just do /, I can access all of my skills. So at this point, I can type in Clerk, and you see Clerk setup. Here we are. Add Clerk to the project by following the quick start guidelines. So let's do Clerk setup, and I also want to do Clerk Next.js patterns, right? So let's just say setup Clerk for me. And as you can see, you can either run through manually, or we are moving into an age of agentic coding. Okay, so in this case now, this is definitely something that you want to get familiar with so you can understand what's going on. And if you're not sure where to begin, this is the 100% right place, guys. So make sure you subscribe for more videos. I'm going to be dropping so much stuff about agentic coding, so you guys can be at the top of the food chain when it comes to this, right? So at this point, we have a sub agent kicked off, and you can see it's going ahead and exploring the structure, and it's going to go set things up for us. So while it's doing that, what I want to do is I'm going to just go ahead and explain what we're going to do to set everything up. So you can see right now it's actually installing on our behalf, and I've actually given it access to do that. So I've gone ahead and just for this tutorial running everything, but you need to be a bit careful with that. We've got Cape Town in the house as well. What is up? Good to see you guys. My music just ended. Let me go ahead and restart the music, and I can't scroll up. Oh yeah, I can. There you go. Oh, it's live liked playlist. That's why. I see. Oh, nice. Okay, that's why. Cool. So in this case, you see, look, it's going ahead and it's updating our proxy. So the first step is we need a proxy file. This one is very important, right? The proxy file essentially is Clerk's middleware. It tells us where, it's every single request that goes through the app is going to run through here. So what we're going to do here is some pretty cool things. We're going to go ahead and have things like, you know, is it an agent route? Is it an onboarding route? Is it a public route? Is it a protected route, and so forth? So that's where we go ahead and handle the redirecting or forcing them to the sign up screen over here. Okay, so the next thing that it did is it went to app.layout and it went ahead and simply wrapped our entire app inside the Clerk provider. Awesome stuff. Done a perfect job of that. And now what we should be able to see is it running on our local host. Let's give it a try, guys. Look, there we have it. Sign up, and then it opens up the page like so. Sign into the real estate platform. Awesome. And if we signed in, we'll get the user button. So already it's working pretty nice, right? So now I'm going to do Command I to hide that screen, and I need to restructure my files a bit. So we're actually going to have two different sections of this app. We're going to have the dashboard and then the main side of the app. Okay. So we've got, oh, Republic of Congo here. That is awesome, dude. Welcome. All right. So at this point, what we're going to do is have two different folders, and these are called grouped folders inside of Next.js. So we're going to say dashboard, and then we're going to have another one called the app or main, right? The main is just going to be everything that the customers are going to see. There's also going to be studio, but we're going to show you that one afterwards, right? So this is actually the agent dashboard. This is the customers panels. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the page.tsx into the main. And as you can see, everything is, we just need to update the imports, and everything should still be absolutely fine, right? So that's great. That means we've done something right to begin with. Okay. Now, one thing that I do wanted to mention is someone goes, too much manual work. Why don't you plan with Copilot and delegate to him? So we could do that. But the thing is, it would end up building a different version of the app than the one on stream. So I'm trying to find a balance here of explaining, you know, how can we get this right? But I tell you what, let's go ahead and try and navigate this, right? Because I've never done live coding with AI before. I've done it more with the assisted side of things, right? We are using a Sanity for the database, right? So let's go ahead and firstly, let's set up Sanity first, okay? So here we have Sanity. Before we continue any further from that side, I wonder if Sanity has released a set of skills. Let's have a look. Sanity agent skills. Okay, this is quite cool. So introducing Sanity skills, published January 27th. Hey, look at that. We've got Sanity best practices, content modeling best practices. This is perfect. All right, let's go ahead and install this into our project. So we'll do Command J, pull this up. And now we're going to follow the same installation flow. So I want to have content experimentation. Okay, nice. Content modeling, Sanity best practices, and AEO, answer engine optimization. That's actually for like when GPT searches and so forth. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to cursor, and we're going to accept, and we're going to install it locally to the project with a symlink, and we're going to proceed to install. Okay. Now, and always with that incredible smile, Sonny, it's a pleasure. Well done. Appreciate you so much, David. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, right? So in this case, we have the skills installed. That's awesome. Next up, we can close this, okay? So I now want to actually set up Sanity. Did they have a skill? So I'm going to do Command N to start a new chat. Be aware of the context, guys. Because remember, when you're using expensive models, there's no need for me to have the old task in the context window, right? So now I'm going to do /Sanity. And as you can see, Sanity content modeling best practices, and also Sanity best practices here as well. But in this case, you know, I want to just run the Sanity quick start guide, right? So in this case, Sanity get started, or actually, you know what, rather than all of this, we've actually got a perfect guide here. So we can just run this command to get Sanity installed on the project. So inside the Sanity dashboard, Command I to hide that side. And we're simply going to pop that command in down here. And as you can see, this is going to go ahead and basically set up the Sanity Studio for us. We've got France in the house as well. Hey, we got the like button smashed as well. I can't actually see the likes. I really don't know why I can't see likes today. That's super strange. It's kind of annoying, YouTube. You got to fix that. So Jay, you're going to have to give me like updates, please, because I really love seeing just likes and everything. It's kind of cool. Okay. So in this case now, oh, I guess it's just not showing likes anymore. That's interesting. Okay. So would you like to add the configuration file? I need to log in. What? Okay. I'm going to log into my Google account on the side. That's interesting. Yep. I'm back in. So here we have, would you like to add configuration files for Sanity? Yes. Would you like embedded? Yes. What root? /studio. Would you like to update your environment file? Yes. And they also added HTTP localhost 3000 to our cause origin on our Sanity side, which is great. Now here, configure the Sanity MCP server. Yep, amazing stuff. We actually already did it, but I'm just going to run through that instead and show you. So we're going to say up a cursor. let's let that do its thing, and this will go ahead and install it into our, app. Okay. So while that's happening, let's head back over here. And then when we run it, it should be running at it's not actually running here. It'll be running at /studio. Okay. So once that's installed, it should be good to go. Okay. So we're going to let that do its thing. I mean, I shouldn't have really reinstalled it. I guess I could have just skipped that step and it would have been a bit quicker. But I guess maybe it's got some new versions, which is kind of good. Actually, I needed to do that. Oh no, so I've actually got old version. Oh, okay. So maybe we need to actually update that, but it's fine for now. Right. Restart cursor and say get started with Sanity in the chat. Okay, this is actually cool. So we could do that. I've already set mine up, but you can feel free to do that. Okay, nice. So here, what I want to do is head back over here, do a command. We actually need to refresh our server. So go back to here, and you see after we've done a bunch of changes, then we need to effectively run, pm dev. Okay. Now, once this is done, it will spin up our app, and then we go over here to refresh and just test it. First, your landing page is loading. That's good. Then we go to /studio. And now what we can see is clerk-auth was called, we've got some issue, right? This is happening because we shouldn't be running the clerk authentication side of things for Sanity as such, right? So I'm going to show you how we can get around all of this and make sure that we do it right, okay? So this isn't actually the biggest problem, to be fair. But we need to make sure that we've done it right. Okay. So first up is we go to our proxy.ts, and then I want to just make sure that a few things are happening. So number one, existing middleware or proxy.ts, clerk middleware is used in your farm. And let's just double check something over here. We actually do have our middleware, unless it's gone and done something interesting. Okay. It's fine for now. Clerk middleware. Let's go ahead and set up a few things in the middleware. So I want to firstly go ahead and grab the two objects which allow us to do a bunch of stuff here. So it's an arrow function. And then you guys can see here we got the arrow function. Now I'm going to have a few protected routes eventually inside this app. Okay. So we're going to have a couple here. And remember, you have full access to the code base. So you guys can feel free to go ahead and grab it. Now with AI coding, it's not really that beneficial I go line by line anymore. It's more beneficial that I give you the code and then I explain to you the high level concepts of what we're doing. So the code is in the description down below. We're just going to import these dependencies. Is protected route, is onboarding, is agent, and is public. Okay. So these are different routes that we just want to protect effectively. So if it's a public route, then we're going to allow. Okay, so let's go over here. So if it's a public route, then we're going to import next response and we're going to allow that through. Okay, and if it's, so firstly, did that fix our issue over here? No, it didn't. Okay, that's fine. That actually is happening because I just want to double check a few things. So inside of our layout, we have a few things going on over here. We have the header, we have Okay, well, firstly, I'm going to get rid of this header. I want to keep it very simple for now. And I actually want to change a couple of things. So inside of our, inside of the top level layout is where I want to begin things off. Okay. So two things. If we go to skills.sh and we go to, you see, you can actually install a bunch of skills here. So a couple of things I want you to do. Here we have Vercel, React Best Practices. We even have one for, I believe it was Next.js. But I want you to actually make sure you scan these to make sure that there's no, bad prompt injections or anything like that. You can actually get AI to scan these for you as well. But in this case, this is pretty damn well used. But some people are spoofing, so you have to be a bit careful with that, okay? So in this case, I'm going to install this one. I've already got this installed, actually, I believe. But these will help out a ton when we're prompting. So I just want you to know that. And also web design guidelines. So let's install these two skills into our setup. So I've got this skill right here. And I'm also going to do the web design guidelines. And these are really handy, to be fair, when you're doing stuff. So we just want to do it for cursor, install, proceed with the installation. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well for the web design guidelines. Okay. Now, I'm telling you guys, it's a crazy time to be a developer right now because you can truly fly if you know what you're doing. Right now, I'm slowing it down just to show you guys what I'm doing, but truly, it's incredible what you can actually do right now. Vercel composition, this is really, really good as well if you want to go ahead and understand how you build things the correct way, avoid prop drilling, all of that stuff. So we're going to install that as well into our project. And this is just going to help us navigate a few of the issues that we might run into. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and install that. There we go. Close that out. And then let's go ahead and get rid of these. Okay, now the first step is I want to fix this error with Sanity Studio. I'm not happy about that. Why is that happening? Oh, we actually got rid of it. So it just required a bit of a hard refresh. Right, so /studio. And now let that load in. And we need to make sure that we log in here with the same user account that we set the project up in, because that is the first admin user for Sanity Studio. And now, just like this, we will have our studio open up inside. There you go. Now we've got our studio up and running. So it takes that quick. It's very, very quick to get your studio up and running, right? We don't need these things anymore. So we got the studio. So that's going to be our studio, right? So we're going to go ahead and just keep that over here now. And then we've got the app running on localhost 3000 homepage. So now these are the two sides of our app. Okay, so we're going to have one as just a, we're just going to call it Sanity Studio. And then the other one is going to be called the Nest. Let's just call it the front end app. Okay, so we've got the front end app and Sanity Studio. Just remember that, these two sides. Cool. Now what we're going to do is a couple of bits of metadata and so forth. Now, you can do this manually, but I honestly would just say you should use AI for this, right? So in this case, for this part, I'm going to say update. Like here, you can go ahead and talk to it. You can do whatever you want to do. But here I can just simply say update all of the metadata to make this a real estate platform called Nest.js. And then go ahead and update the relevant keywords, descriptions, and so forth to make it really great with SEO. Let's go ahead and let that do its thing. And as you can see, we can go ahead and hit OK. And then that will go ahead and just do a couple of cool bits there, right? Now, of course, I want to make sure that you go ahead and get the exact code that I'm going to get. So I'm just showcasing a couple of tips and techniques that you can actually do here. And also, I did actually use a skill here to make sure that it's really done it quite nicely. But let's just let this update for a second just to go ahead and show you how easy it can be. Rather than writing, all of these metadata tags yourself, you can simply run something like this, like Nest.js, find your perfect home, and there you go. That is perfect. Look at that. It looks really nice. You can run through it. They've got metadata base, open graph. This is just going to allow you to be found much more easier and be indexable in a bunch of different ways, okay? The next one is actually the fonts. So we are using a few different fonts compared to the base fonts. We're going to import Inter and plus Jakarta Sans, and then I'm going to be using these later on, okay? So these are going to help us out a bunch. Now, if I go down here, I've also got one more thing, which was for the viewport. So if we go down here, this is just going to be something where we basically are matching a few things for light and dark. And then really what I was going to do is I was going to pre-connect to the external domains for performance reasons, right? So these are all things, by the way, which were actually recommended me from one of the skills. I believe the skill was, if you really want to know, it was one of the top skills. I believe it was SEO. It was one of these. I think it was SEO audit, maybe I have done, but it was more so, I think it was just from one of these top web design guidelines, one of these, right? But the point is that it basically helped me come up with some really awesome optimizations to allow the website to run faster. So it pre-connects to the CDNs to make things load quicker. That's kind of clean, okay? Next up for the body tag, we're gonna pull in two different things. So we're gonna have the inter variable, Jakarta, and then the guys to mono fonts, because we're gonna do a couple of cool things for the fonts. And then we render the children, okay? Now we are gonna have two things. We're gonna have Sanity Live, and we're gonna have under here. So we need to put this here. So Sanity Live. And that allows our app to be real-time by default using Sanity's Live content lake. So we're gonna go ahead and import that in like so. We can get rid of this one right here. Cool. And then we need to go ahead and get the toaster. So the toaster is the next one. So the toaster is actually from Shadcn. So Shadcn, let me go ahead and break it down with Shadcn, how you get this running. So let's head over to Shadcn. Oh, no, it wasn't this one. It's annoying that I even went to that site in the first place, because now every time I go there, I have to do that same thing. So we go to the docs. You can see that you can use Shadcn create to create a scaffolding project. That's kind of cool. But in this case, let's just install Shadcn latest create. Okay. pm dialect Shadcn create. I really kind of want to show you guys like what it could be like with the vibe coding flow as well. As in, like, when I say vibe coding, I mean like the true proper way to do it, not just like the way that many people do it. I want to kind of show you, my way itself. So do you want to build your own Shadcn? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and say no. But I believe it would have installed it correctly. So in this case, we go to, oh, sorry, I went to the wrong thing. It was Next.js, this one here. Yeah, we need to do that init. So we need to do this init command. pnpm dlx Shadcn. We want tools and travel app next. Okay, let me know, guys, while I'm doing this. Do you want to see what I'm doing right now, this flow, or do you want to see more of like me prompting and building an app super fast that way? Because there's two approaches and each one has pros and each one has a con. But this one is the most thorough because you can just prompt afterwards and you learn all the fundamentals with this. And I don't mind, this takes longer, so I really don't mind, okay? So once we have Shadcn installed, we can go ahead and add a button to our app. So Command J, paste this in, it's gonna add a button. Now, what I want you to do is go to the MCP server and you can install this yourself into MCP. So in this case, we got cursor and you can go ahead and install this. I've already done this, okay? But we're gonna do it for you right now. So Command J, paste this in, and you can initialize the client cursor. And what you'll do is it'll configure the MCP server, install the dependencies, and if you can see here, MCP, it adds in Shadcn. Okay, and this is very handy because now it tells your code base, okay, he's using Shadcn. It knows what is available basically. Okay, now I want to check for one thing while we're here. Skills.sh, Shadcn. So Shadcn, or just say Shadcn skills. Shadcn skills. Skills blocks for Shadcn. No, this is not these ones. It needs the official skills MD. I'm wondering, do we have it or not? Okay, maybe on skills.sh. I'm going way off on a tangent right now, but I just kind of want to do it anyway. It's fine. Shadcn. So this one is kind of good, but I wouldn't recommend you maybe use these unless you do a scan here. So I would literally run this through an AI bot to make sure it's not got any prompt injection attacks, but you could use that if you wanted to and then kind of pull that skill in whenever you need to. So it's up to you guys really. In this case, we're just going to resume on. That's not it, Jay. That's actually something different, but thank you for helping. All right. So next up, you see it failed. So our app died because we've changed a couple of things. So what you need to do is if this happens, just restart pnpm dev. Cool. And ooh, we have a situation. What is this? I have a Turbopack error. Okay, so in this case, I only added a couple of bits and bobs. So I need to do pnpm. I need to do a basic cache install, I believe. Okay. So I'm going to show you live debugging then already. So I didn't plan to do it this early, but in this case, where the app keeps stopping like this, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get AI to help us out with this bug while I'm live, okay? So I'll copy this in. I'd go ahead and, or you can just do add to chat. So you can just highlight all of this. And then you can do Command L and it pulls it into this. Do Command N to start a new window. And I can say, help fix this, right? And now what I like about Opus 4.6 is it doesn't by default just have extended thinking on or off. Instead, what it does is it goes ahead and, no, we don't actually want to do that. Turbopack root. Instead, what have I got? Package lock, jeez. Do I have a package lock in here? No, I didn't want to do that. So it's gone. It actually did it because there is at my, oh, I made a mistake once and that's terrible. Why is it there? Okay, so there's, you see that next to hex a package lock over here. So I'm actually going to say just delete that one. So what I can do is I'm going to say help to fix this and I can do delete this file. And you see, like I can actually go back in time. So I can ignore the changes it did, but it can help me quickly get there, right? So you see it deleted it now, done. Now I can restart the dev server. And now we should be able to be good to go. So unable to acquire lock in another, oh, so we have a, oh, okay. So we need to tell, yep, kill that terminal, npm dev, localhost 3000, and we're good. Yeah. So you guys can see that's a really nice way of just debugging, right? You see it's super quick, super nice and quick, like easy to go ahead and do that. So let that load up and we can simply start running through the next section. Okay. So let that do its thing. I don't know why the demo gods are being against me right now, but either way, what I want to do is I want to prepare a couple of things. So in the background on my side, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have one simple pnpm install that I need to get from my other project. Okay. So while that happens, why is this taking a bit of a time? Let's see. Let me close out the app and open up another localhost instance. Interesting. Okay. Let's have a look. These are all different cursor skills. That's fine for now. We don't mind if we're going to commit that. Proxy.cs, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, this is a bit of a local issue. So localhost 3000, this is localhost 3000. God damn it. That's very strange. Why is this happening? Something's hanging. I think maybe actually I installed a few dependencies that haven't been installed here. I think it's actually the fonts, and I think that's what's probably happening here. Okay, so first up in the background, I just want to do a couple of things. So Command J, pull this up, and I've got a big command here to install every single Shadcn command that I might need. Okay, so you guys remember, you have access to the entire code base, or you can just screenshot this, copy my command right here, and run it. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that super big so you guys can see it. All right. So let that do an install. That's going to install everything that we possibly needed. And then we actually needed to install. Oh, we weren't actually using Toast component. We were using Sona. So did it not install Sona? So pm dlx Shadcn. Oh, okay, that's horrible. I don't like why I can't do this sometimes. So let me just kill this one. Open up again. Add Sona. You can uninstall the other one if you wanted to. Okay. So interestingly enough, I'm not sure why the app is freezing. Oh, actually, I think it's done. It's just because we haven't got anything on the main page. That's why. Let's go over here. Let's go to our studio. No, here, main page. We do have stuff on the page. Interesting. Just type in hello world. And in a situation like this is where AI can come in really clutch. I can be like, nothing's loading on the page. So I can simply go ahead and say nothing's loading on the / page. And let's just check for any errors at the same time. So again, demo gods are against me today. It's fine. We'll debug it together. But yeah. Guys, Hassan's is not defined error was happening earlier. So the root cause is because we've got multiple package lock files. So, okay, interestingly enough, I don't know where the package lock has been set, but that's a strange issue. So if you do have that issue, you can simply resolve to the directory name by doing the following. So we're just going to hard cast that for now. But I do need to actually fix that because let me hit the file. Okay, so I can tell it to stop. Let me just make sure it's not running that command anymore. Kill that one. Go back over here. Let's run it again. pm dev 3000. And I think it is the package lock that is like really screwing with me right now. And I think I know why, because I did a dodgy setup in the beginning, which I'm really regretting right now. Okay. I know one way of doing this, but I just don't want to do all of that again. Okay, so what we could do here, to be fair, because my layout was not touched. So let me just make this smaller as well, because I can't see a single thing. Firstly, let's get these out for a sec. Let's just do a bit of split approach. I face this issue sometimes. I tried to install something globally right, and my project was using pm. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The same thing. I should have set it up with pm from the get-go. It's something that's just got crossed off there because I went ahead and screwed up that side of things. So, okay. So what I'll show you is a quick way to, not a quick way, but we haven't gone that deep into the build. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out of this and do a separate build here. So pm dlx, create next app at latest. And let's just call this one Zillow clone. So Zillow clone. And I'm just going to set up a separate app on the side and just shift a couple of things that I want over there. Because we're using DLX, it will set things up right off the get-go. I should have probably done this in the beginning. I screwed up somewhere. It's fine. It happens. But rather than being on the live stream, debugging that part, which isn't fun for everyone, we want to just keep things super quick. Let's do cd Zillow clone, cursor into that. And then what I'm going to do is keep this over here. I'm just going to extract a couple of things. I want to keep the cursor folder over here, and also the agents folder. I want that as well. So I want to take the cursor in the agents folder, and then we're going to run a couple of the installs again that we did previously. Okay. So, and also the environment local file, we can take that. So I've taken a couple over, and then we can simply do a few of the installs that we did previously. Okay. So now what we can do is in the new chat, let's simply go ahead and say /clerk. Oh, it's not set itself up. Oh, come on. Let's do a new chat. Let's see if it pulls that in. /clerk. Okay. Breathe. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to have to do my installs again. That's fine. Let's go over here. Let's just do it from the beginning. So npm install. There's a couple of things we did. We added the clerk skills and we added the sanity skills. Let's go ahead and add those in again. So npx skills, add these in. Let's go ahead and do that. Project, symlink, proceed. Okay, that's number one. Number two was we had the sanity skills. Let's go ahead and do that. Sanity IO agent toolkit. Go ahead and install that. So we want all of these. Let's just add them all. Install, and we're good. Okay. Number three is we are going to go ahead and set things up from, what else did we install? We went ahead and set up Shadcn, and we also ran a couple of things. We added in a couple of these, like, web design principles and stuff like that. For now, I guess we could install those, but I'm just going to avoid them for now. We're going to do Shadcn latest. Oops, not this one. We're going to do Shadcn init. Now we're going to set Shadcn up, neutral. And then what we can do is just simply stop the other one running. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the next command, which is for, I'm going to turn the music down. We need to lock in a bit. Need to focus. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and add a button just to get a few starter things going, right? So this is now Shadcn. The folder structure is getting set up. There we go. Happy with all of that. And then I want to do the, it was the sanity install that we did. Okay, so that's fine. We can go back to sanity and we can just do it again. So sanity, let's run this install command again on our code base. So this will pull sanity inside of things. Yep, we are logged in. Would you like an embedded studio? Everything, yes, yes, and yes. And you can see sanity has actually pulled in here. Interesting. So we're not going to install the Sanity MCP server again. We can get rid of these. Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Studio, yeah. Okay. So once that's done, what we can do is on a separate terminal, I can go ahead and simply, actually we'll let it do its thing. I'm not going to rush. We're just going to make sure we get this done properly so I can get you guys set off from and remember, when you're watching this in afterwards, you can simply go ahead and actually just skip this part if you want to. And also somebody's got a command here, pnpm dlx shadcn add all. You know what? I've never done it on a build, so I'm going to just try that one actually. So I copied your comment, pnpm shadcn dlx latest add all. This is going to add all the Shadcn components to our project. I'm not recommending you do that all the time. I'm just saying for today, we have quite a lot going on. So let's make our life a little easier and just pull that in, okay? So in this case, it goes ahead and pulls those in. That's going to install everything into the project, okay? Now, that's good. We've got that connected. And then I just need to go ahead and do pnpm dev. And let's spin this up. And hopefully we're all good now. Okay, so we should have the app running. There we go. Okay, the next one is we need to set clerk up again. So npm I. So over here now, we can do clerk setup. So / setup. Interestingly enough, my clerk one's not getting set up. So I did do that before. So let's do clerk skills. And I think I had to actually click the clerk skill install. Clerk skills. 2 days ago is this one. MPX skills, add clerk skills. We did do this. So interestingly enough, I don't see it, which is strange, but let's try again. Let's install these one more time. And then we want to go down here to cursor and project symlink proceed. Okay. So we should have a couple of those skills now, / clerk. Interestingly enough, I can't see it, which is super strange. Let me go ahead and I think I need to just restart my cursor, you know. Well, let's close. Don't want to keep doing this. Let's cursor that one again. And then let's go ahead and do that one more time. So / is it because I added these in previously? Skills clerk, and I have skills clerk here as well. Agents, skills clerk. So let's go ahead and actually get rid of these ones. And then let's go ahead and get rid of these ones as well. So I get rid of this all the way down here. And then let's install them again. And I'll show you a couple of ways that you can add these, because it is worth doing this, because you do actually get a ton of benefit from this. So project symlink proceed installation. Okay. / there we go. Okay. / clerk. It's because I pulled it in from another one. So we say clerk setup. Let's just say set clerk up for me. Cool. Now let that do its thing in the back. Command J. Let's go ahead and close all this off. / app. I need 2 folders in here. I need a dashboard and I need a main. The main is going to be the front facing app. The dashboard is going to be the other one. Main, we can simply pop it into the main over here. Okay. And then for update imports, yes. Okay. So that's going to happen and set things up over there. We can go ahead and now refresh our localhost to make sure that, you know, things are still happening as we want them to. So Command J, let's do pm dev. Oh, oops, pm dev over here. And now you can see it's running. That's awesome. Okay, so now we're back in the game. Cool. Sometimes it can happen. You know, you can get into these weird situations. It's fine. It set the proxy up for us. That's all good. And also the layout, there we have it. They're all good. To be fair, it could have been the proxy. Could have been the proxy. I think I screwed something up with the proxy last time. Okay, there we go. Right. So proxy.ts we will handle afterwards. Let's do step by step. And then we can go ahead and just do bits and bobs. Yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this over here to make sure that it's a bit easier now, because I don't want to keep jumping back and forth. And I think, you know what, I think everyone understands that they have access to the code, so we don't need to keep on, you know, rewriting these lines. So quick little water break, and then we're going to fly through. Okay. So step 1 is I want to build the landing page out. So the landing page, obviously right now, this is it. I don't like this. This should be, you know, the much nicer landing page. Now, again, you have all the code for the landing page on the GitHub repo. I'm not going to spend too long on stuff like that. I'm going to rather just kind of, I would prefer to fly through those bits so we can actually spend time on the more functional side. Okay. So in the GitHub repo, you have access to, inside of main page.tsx, you'll be able to get the entire code base over here. So you'll be able to get this entire page.tsx, which will look something like this. Right. Now, what we're going to do is set up that page and the things underneath it. So right now you guys can see this is all the styling to basically get things up and running. But what I want you to do is go ahead and set these up with me. Some of the things like the property grid, Sanity Live, as well as the Sanity Fetch. Actually, we can go ahead and get, we've already got that. So Sanity Fetch is actually from Sanity Lib. So mine was just slightly different. Sanity Queries, we can go ahead and create. So in our lib folder, what I want you to do, inside of lib, we're going to have Sanity. And then we're going to go ahead and have a queries folder. Okay. And inside of here, what we're going to do is have, this is how we have effectively query against our database. Okay. So inside of this, what's it called, file, what we're going to do is we have a queries.ts. So a queries.ts file. And then we paste in the following, and you can see we've got an image fragment, which is actually just, you know, simply a declaration here, because we reused it a bunch. And then we have the actual, this is the Grok programming language, which is not a querying language, sorry, which is the one that Sanity uses. Now I've installed the Grok extension, which is why you've got syntax highlighting here. So you can simply do that yourself inside of extensions. But now that we have our first query, we're just querying the schema for property where the status is active. We haven't got the schema set up yet, so we'll do that afterwards. But this is basically a sample of how we can query, okay? Now, we've done that, right? So in this case, that should pull in. So that's not pulling in because we have, let's see, at lib. Oh, I think it's doing it from lib sanity queries, libs sanity lib sanity queries. Oh, sorry guys, I made a silly mistake. We do not need that folder, so it's just Insanity. We can get rid of the queries folder, delete. Okay, so step one is I'm showing you how to set one up, okay? So that way we've got it set up, right? Now, obviously, when we go to this, when it's called, this is how we do a real-time call, right? Well, actually a server-side call to Sanity, and because we're using define live, we are now basically making sure that we go ahead and fetch it. And if anything changes on Sanity side, it will re-render. But we have to make sure that we have this Sanity live inside of our layout. So over here where our layout is, we need to make sure that we have the Sanity live component here as well. Now it will go ahead and handle that. We'll fix the layout afterwards, but let's go ahead and firstly get the property grid set up, right? So inside of our components folder, I'm going to create another component folder. Everything Shadcn is UI. But here we're going to have one called property, and then we're going to have a component inside called property grid. Okay, so property grid. So this one is going to be the following. So property and then property grid.ts, right? And this will have a few types that we need to set things up for, and also something called a property card. Okay, so the property card is this component like so. So we have the property card. And then we need to set up a few things like the Sanity image URL. So in this case, a few things have changed the imports for. This one, it actually gets pulled in when we set Sanity up. So if we do control space, we can actually import that already. And then the types, we will go ahead and set up as well. So types is actually at the top layer. So what I'm going to do is I've actually got a couple of types set up here. So we will create a folder called types, and we've got a few. Index.ts over here is a bunch of different types. You can go ahead and get access to this file. And this basically just is going to help us out with a couple of types that we're going to need throughout the app, okay? Clerk.d.ts is actually, we don't actually need this one anymore. Actually, no, we do use this one, I believe. We don't actually use this one, but onboarding complete we do use. In fact, I don't know if we actually even need this anymore, but I'll come back to that when we come to that. Okay, so now going over to the property card, we can see for that component, we should have, we don't do a import. Okay, that's fine. So property card, this should work. Yep, there you go. Then we got this. There we go. Okay. So for the property card, I don't want you to focus too much time on this. It's effectively just rendering out the actual property details themselves, and it takes the actual property itself. So here you can look at the property contents. So basically using TypeScript to make sure that we're not going to, we can safely type all of these things afterwards. So I'm going to go over here in the badge. This is fine. This is very minor fix we can do later. So undo that. Okay. So I want to get this running firstly. Okay. So as you can see, find your perfect nest. Now that doesn't look like the main app yet. Okay. A couple of things we need to do. That's why. So step one is the layout. The layout needs to get updated to what it is on the main app. So firstly, we done a couple of changes last time we ran through that. So I'm going to bring this up to state with what I have on my the main GitHub repo. Okay, so we're going to import that. And the only thing that we don't have here is the Sanity is in a different place. So I'm going to pull in our Sanity live from a different place. Okay. And as you can see, things are dying and we need to see why they're dying. So yeah, we just needed a full refresh. So if we hit a refresh now we've set up our fonts and everything like that. It says skip to main content as well. That's for accessibility more so, but I'm not going to cover that today. You can actually feel free to look at that one yourself afterwards. Okay. Now the next step is the globals.css. Now here, I've actually changed quite a lot inside of this build for the global CSS file. So I've changed a couple of these colors, I've changed a couple of the root colors, and I've added a bunch of custom styles ourselves. So what I recommend you do is you grab my global CSS file, because this part is effectively just a bunch of custom Tailwind classes. Okay, so we've got a few, I've commented things out so we don't spend too much time on it, but it's mainly for accessibility. Now, if you want to know how I was able to do all of these things, right? Like how was he focusing on all of that, right? Like, how did he do all of that? Well, in fact, all I did was I did skills.sh, and then I went to the accessibility one, which was React. I think it was web design guidelines. I'm sure it was this one, accessibility. It was one of these. So I believe it was on front end. It was either front end designs. It was accessibility. Yeah, front end designs. This one. Install this skill, run it, and I promise you, you just say, make my website accessible. It does a fantastic job of getting that up and running. Okay. And this will add a bunch of, things into your app. In fact, if we were to put back that accessibility check now, you can see it's no longer an issue, right? But the colors have now come in as well, which is awesome because I saved the global CSS file. Cool. So you can see we've got everything coming through. That's kind of cool. The next thing I want to do is, we haven't got the footer here, so we can fix that up afterwards. That's fine. Is go ahead and set up the next part, which is, let's set up Sanity, right? So Sanity's side. So we're going to close this out, go to Sanity, and then we have our schema types. Now this is what is the shape of our database? Okay. So this is really going to be where things come together. So what we're going to do is inside of our schema. So I've got a few things I need to run through now. So step one, we have Okay, so I've changed the layout of this, to be fair. So mine is slightly different layout, but in this we have schemas, and then we have the different schemas inside of here. Okay, so we're gonna have schemas, and then I've got the following schemas. So I've got, I believe, 5 different schemas. We've got agent.ts, we've got amenity, lead, property, and user. Now, if you're wondering again, how would a beginner go ahead and approach this initial part? Well, what you can do is open up the composer, do Command N. With the skills that we set up earlier, you can simply do /sanity. /sanity. You know what? I think I would have to actually do that. You see what I did wrong in the beginning was I pulled these in from my other build without clearing things. So I believe what we should do first is actually grab this to that, get rid of those. Let me just you won't have to do this. It's just because I restarted the project in the beginning. So get rid of those, and then I need to reinstall my Sanity skill. Sanity skills, yep, AI agent toolkit. You won't have to do that. You only got to do that for one in the beginning, by the way. So I'm going to enable these, and then I'm going to reinstall it into the project. And now we should have them successfully set up. So we do /sanity. There we go. See, Sanity content modeling best practices, and we also have Sanity best practices. So you can basically just go ahead and say Sanity /sanity content modeling best practices, or this. You don't even have to do that, by the way, but I just like to make sure that it actually knows. And I can say, help me design the following schema and blah, blah, blah. And you basically explain it out, and then it can literally just help you write this very, very easily. What I would recommend is you say, I'm using Clerk for my authentication, so please factor in, you don't say please with AI, it's a waste of tokens. You just go ahead and say, factor in that I'm using Clerk, so use the user ID when connecting references and so forth, okay? So in this case, we've got our agent.ts, this is how we resemble all of the agents. Then we have the amenities, this is how we resemble all of the different, swimming pool, garage, and all that kind of stuff. We've got leads, these are referencing agents and so forth. And then we even have validation fields, property.ts, how a property is structured, the different options in the list and so forth, and also the user themselves. Okay, and for photos, all we have to do is just type in type image of photo, and then Sanity is going to handle all of the rest for us. Now, what we do next is we go into index and we simply import all of the types into here. Now, after we've done that, what we can find is, if it's there, I don't know where that went. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my studio over that side. So here we have the studio. So to localhost 3001/studio. Well, actually, it's not 3001, it's just going to be 3000. Now we have the studio that will load once we've logged in. So let's log into the correct provider, Sunny.Sanga. And now you can see we've got each of those individual content blocks, property, agent, lead, and so forth. And we can create each one. But what if you're like me and you're a bit lazy and you're kind of like, I don't want to seed all of that data manually. That's intense. That's tiring. I don't want to do that, right? So what we can actually do is I've included the scripts for you, number one. But you can either use my scripts or you can go ahead and just ask AI to seed data for you completely. But if we were going to do it ourselves, you know, like here, for example, I could say literally I could say Sanity, or let's just say using your Sanity skill set, I need to seed all of the Sanity's schema files. So we have a bunch of users, agents, leads, properties, amenities, and everything set up correctly. Just seed me a couple of bits of information. Right? So this, you can talk fuzzy logic into it. It really doesn't matter at this point. Right? You can kind of go ahead and do that, and that will work. Right? What that will do is it will spit out either a script or it will go ahead and do it for you based on the Sanity MCP server. So you can actually go ahead and say at Sanity or MCP, I believe. So MCP. So you can actually do the /. It will automatically kick into the Sanity MCP, to be fair. Right? So we can go ahead and either do it like this. So I can show you that, to be fair, while it runs. Or I can show you what it kind of built for me. So in this case, I actually done that command and I got the following scripts. So I've got the data in here, and then I've got amenities, leads, properties, users, and so forth. So you can see it can actually go ahead and access Sanity MCP stuff as well, which is really powerful, by the way. See, it has the project ID. It just went into our local env local file. But now it's going to create, you see, and it's creating the agents in parallel. So this is spinning off sub agents. But I don't want it to do all that, right? For now, I just kind of want to, I'm going to revert to this by just going ahead and say, yeah, so cancel that. I'm just going to cancel this, and I'm going to show you my script instead. So in this case, we've got some sample agents, amenities, leads, properties, and users. For the properties, the way we've done it is we've just got these images, and they get uploaded for the images instead. Now, for the seed itself, we can go ahead and you see it's created this script for us, okay? So we do need to go ahead and install Sanity Client and .env, but again, you can go ahead and tell your agent to do this. We can say run the seed script, right? And literally what it should even do is detect that these aren't installed and install them as well. So let's go ahead and see what it does, okay? So in this case, you can see it uses, let me also check tsconfig and see if Sanity Client and .env are installed. So it's going to check those to see if it's installed. It's likely found that it hasn't been installed. And then it's going to go ahead. Yep, there you go. It found out it hasn't been installed. And now it's just going to go ahead and install those for us. So the reason why I'm showing you this is I'm trying to show you that, yes, I could have just ran pm install Sanity Client and so forth. But you're eventually not going to be doing it that way. That's the truth. You're going to be trusting, you know, an AI agent to kind of install that for you and run this process for you. So this is kind of the balance I'm trying to get by on a live stream of showing you the both sides of it, even though, you know, we get comments a lot of the time. So Sunny, why don't you just AI code the entire thing? Because it's not going to benefit you guys, okay? It's going to benefit you if I show you a breakdown like this. So first things first, I actually want to do the following. We need a Sanity API token. And the thing you'll find out about AI as well is it tends to run through a lot of this with you, okay? So what we can do is we can go over to that Sanity's Sanity setup. We can go to our API. We can go to tokens, and we can create an API token. And let's just call this one the editor. Or this one is actually, I'm just wondering, how many tokens do we actually need? Local. We need a API token, and we need a read token. So this token is going to be the editor token because it's going to have everything. So view, copy that, obviously hide that one. And then we are going to need a Sanity API read token as well. Sanity API read token. So let's go ahead and create one more read token. Let's just do read viewer, and then let's grab that. Okay, paste that in. So again, these are now, you know, inside of our config. That's all good. We are also going to need eventually one more key, which is the Mapbox token. So we can set that one up afterwards. Okay, so I can say done. Oops, done. And you see now I can kind of just communicate with it back and forth, right? Yoni says, howdy all, quick like and howdy, very refreshing. Papa Rat staying relevant, showing the ways, love it. Cheers, Sunny, Papa Rat. Thank you so much, dude. Papa Fam is honestly, you know, what it's about. So I absolutely appreciate you, dude. So here, if we expand this, you can see it's running our seed script. So this is effectively how you want to handle it. Now, I'm trying to get a balance between, you know, if I was to vibe code the UI now, you're going to get a different output to me. But so I'm trying to figure out, I really, you know what, as this is loading right now, I really do appreciate your feedback. So let me know, how do you want me to unravel this side of things? That's what I would recommend. Okay. Now, once this is done as well, what I'm going to do is actually, before we continue any more forward, I'm actually just going to commit. So obviously at this point, you don't commit like this. Do not commit like this. I'm stressing the point. For now, I'm live on a demo, so I just need to get a fresh tree. So I'm just going to generate a commit message just quickly. I'm going to push these. Typically, you don't, you know, you might not want to push things like your agent skills and all this sort of stuff. But for now, I'm just going to assume that we want everything there, because I need to show you a trick that I do when I'm coding with vibe coding, right? So again, I don't call it vibe coding. I call it AI assisted coding, but we're going to use the term and correct it in the space, right? So this is now setting up our properties. So if we were to look at this now, this should be setting up some properties for us. Yep, you guys can see here, this is actually going ahead and setting up properties, uploading the images to them and so forth. Yeah, there we go, guys. Look at that. Absolutely awesome. All right. So let that do its thing. We'll be back in a moment. So we've got the home page running. Okay, so over here, invalid source prop. So we need to add hostname CDN Sanity to our next config. So let's do our next config. We need to go ahead and add in the following. So we say images, remote patterns, CDN Sanity IO. Okay. And now this will restart our server in just a moment. So the one that's running over here. And very shortly, we should start seeing properties. This is nice. Awesome stuff. Very nice. Okay. Now, of course, it's just generating random ones. So that's, you know, that's why it's seeing it like that. The footer as well, interestingly enough, we don't see that. So I need to find out where that was rendered, to be fair. Okay. Now, with that bit done, we are going to move over to on the main. Oh, that's why. Okay. See. So right now we have our main page.tsx, right? The layout is for everything. It's for the dashboard, it's for the main, it's for the studio. This is going to get applied for everything. But inside of page.tsx, what if I want every one of these to have a header and a footer? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a layout.tsx file, and we need two components, a components layout footer and a nav bar, right? So number one is going to be the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these. So we've got a layout folder inside of our components. One is going to be the header. So in this case, it's actually the nav bar. Okay. And this is going to be responsible for the top, right? And you can see it's using Shadcn sheet. So you can go ahead and see that for yourself and how we do that over here, right? So you guys can see for yourselves, this is what we're effectively doing. We've got the sheet contents over there, and we're simply just hiding one of these on a mobile view. So you can see that the mobile menu is on mobile, but once we hit a medium breakpoint, it's hidden after that. So that's why you see it after the medium breakpoint. But before that, it's going to be this modal approach, sidebar approach, you know what I mean? Right, we've got the footer over here. Right, this is going to be for the newsletter submitting. Right now, we just say thanks for submitting. We don't actually do anything. So it's very, very simple. Okay, but in this case, this is going to be the header. So if I was at ABC, you know, and I made it like at .com, it's going to do a one, you know, after a second, it's going to say thanks for subscribing, and it's just going to clear it out. But you can actually connect that up to a real one if you want to. Super easy to do so. Okay, so the nav bar, the only one that I didn't mention was dashboard sidebar. This one we're going to use later for the dashboard. Okay, that was the one that we showed in the previous demo for the dashboard navigation. Okay, so next step is we've got the sign in working. So let's go ahead and continue with Google. This is using the clerk-auth that we set up earlier. Let's just log into our account. And then we're going to set up a couple of the following pages. Now we're getting into a flow. Okay, so now you can see perfect stuff. I have my user, I can click manage account, and this is all built into Clerk's authentication, right? So this user profile component is all out of the box. It works amazingly nicely, right? So the next thing is we have this search properties button over here. Now that one looks a bit funky, interestingly enough. Wonder if mine looked like that last time. Oh yeah, okay. Slight issue as well is basically, so I did actually ask my AI to go in and change some of the Shadcn components. So you see here, I did actually go ahead and modify a couple of these UI components. So we're going to be in a bit of a situation here where I have a slightly different, for example, button to what, Shadcn by default installs, because AI went in, changed a couple of those things. So to make sure that we're all consistent here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my UI files, so the ones that I have in my directory, I'm going to paste them in, and oops, okay, no, damn it. Okay, so I actually need to do this in a very clever way. So firstly, the seed was finished. So what I'm going to do is, this is a demo situation more than anything. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste these in. I'm just going to ask AI to help me out here and do something. I'm going to say in UI folder, some of the components have a version where it's got a copy appended to the title of the component. What I want you to do is keep the copy component and remove the duplicate, and then rename the original file, like so for example, avatar copy back to avatar, but keep the copy. Okay, so I'm gonna get AI to do this one for us, yeah? So you guys can see, like, and this is the truth, like this is what coding, like, honestly has become in a lot of ways. I don't even check it sometimes, but let's see what it does. Okay, so there we go. So let's listing the files, and now I can see the duplicates, avatar copy, badge copy, and so forth. This is just kind of, the plans. Delete the originals, rename each copy file to the original name. So now it's going to go delete the originals, bam, and it's going to rename these to the other ones. Okay, let that do its thing. Now I'll rename the copy files to the originals, and then what we should find in just a second, that will fix our issue. And now we have the up-to-date files. Obviously, if you're copying the repo, you don't have to worry about this, right? You guys can just do it. Bro is building a startup every week. Honestly, I know. And guys, when I tell you I have been working on some madness stuff, right? Like I have a crazy workflow that I want to show you guys, but it's not as simple as just showing you that. So I'm gonna have to do a couple of things very soon to go ahead and be able to do that for you. So I'm gonna create a community, and inside of that community, I can show you everything that I'm doing. But when I tell you it's absolutely ridiculous, it's really cool. And I'm gonna call it, I'm not gonna even mention the name, but it's an operating system you can implement, and you guys can code in a way that no one has coded before, right? So I'm gonna copy this error. This is just installing, radix-ui React Dialog into our app. So let that handle it. Again, you could just install that. That's me being very lazy, but the truth is that you could just, no radix are installed at all. So there you go. Let me use the variance. So in this case, the actual truth is it shouldn't be using the radix import. It should be using the other one, but it's actually doing it. So, okay. Let that handle it. We're in the vibe code era 100%. We will love that community. Oh guys, trust me, it's really like me and Jay are working overtime on getting so much stuff done right now. And you also find that on socials, I'm posting a lot more in terms of the AI movement in terms of coding, because there's only so much I can kind of, not talk about it. So I want to kind of dive into that as much as I can, right? So there we have it, guys. That's perfect stuff. The homepage is done. Let's click into a property. And in fact, let's click into a property and handle this page first. So properties/ID. And what I want you to do as well is create a new instance like so, okay? So hide that out. Now, the next step is what we're gonna do. Go into, let me just create my playlist back onto official Papa Fan playlist. So there we are. Okay, so app/main. We're going to have properties, and then we have a few different routes. So I'm going to pop them in, show you what we're going to do. So inside of here, we have, main / So this resembles the / route, to be fair, right now. So oops, where is my pen? Yeah, so this would be / and this would be / properties. Okay, so that's how effectively it works. So this is the home page, and this is / properties. And then as you go down, it'll be / properties / a wildcard, and that's for each individual page, or this will be the search page itself. So we've got a couple of things to build here, right? So first things first, we got loads of queries that we're going to effectively put in. So I've given you access to all the queries, so it's not going to really benefit so much by me going through every single individual query. Instead, what I'm going to do is fast track that and give you all of the queries at once. So in this case, in Sanity's folder, we're going to go ahead and paste in all of the queries. You can feel free to look through it yourself, but effectively all this is doing is just different queries for different areas of the app. This is for the property search. And no, you don't actually need to even know exactly how every single one works. If you do want to go ahead and get an explanation for this, simply highlight over this, Command K, and say explain this query. And then instead of doing a normal enter, you do Option enter, and this will generate an inline question. So in this case, it will literally go ahead and explain to me. It applies 11 different filter conditions, and then it says, here's the filter conditions, and here's the output. Okay. And it basically explains the whole thing. So this is where you need to learn how to code in that way moving forward. Okay, that's going to be the true way that you're going to progress now. So here we have all of our queries, but the next part is before we can progress safely on, we need to make sure that we actually have TypeScript protection on our side. Okay, so what do I mean by that? How can we really kind of run safely here? So inside of our package.json file, what I want to do is I'm going to create a typegen command over here. Right now, what this does is basically this will go ahead and extract all the types, and then it will generate the types for us. So basically, Sanity schema extract is one command, and then at Sanity type gen generate is the second command, and I'm just outputting to this following path. So what I can do is I can now run this command. So over here I can do pnpm typegen, and what you'll find now is this will go ahead and extract all the types and then create type definitions for all of my queries. So now what we should see, extracted schema to, and you can see, look, 16 schema types and 0 grok queries. Okay, so I need to fix that firstly as well. So it should be finding my grok queries. That's the problem. So we actually need to create a sanity typegen file, I believe. Let me just double check that one. Schema types, 0 grok queries. So in fact, what I can do is you can either do it manually, or remember we set up those skills previously. Well, we can actually completely get it to set this up for us. There's a few ways you can do it. I'm just finding one way. We didn't actually do that in my one as well. So interesting. So my one actually just worked off the bat. But what you can do here is if this happens, you can do Command I, paste in this error, and basically just say the queries. Okay, it doesn't even matter about spelling. The queries in / queries aren't being detected in Sanity typegen. Okay, and now this will go ahead and use likely the Sanity typegen configuration file. Typegen configuration. So in this case, give it a sec. There's no Sanity typegen. There you go. So Sanity typegen file can help out, and it includes the path to the query files. Sanity CLI as well. Did I change my one? I can't remember if I changed it much. So we didn't actually change this one much. Sanity config as well. But in this case, you're going to run into this at some point in your journey if you're using Sanity. I guarantee it. So what I recommend you do is you go ahead and have this one right here. So you see this Sanity typegen file. This is actually from the website. So in this case, it's just / lib, and it's checking for schema.json as well as the sanity.types.ts. But I actually want it to include a lot more than just this. So I want to say something like, for this line, I'm going to say here, include the whole app except the node modules, etc. Node modules, etc. And I can kind of queue that one up. And now basically this will scan the entire app as not just the lib, as well. Because I might have, queries here, there, in a few different places, right? So that's what we're going to effectively do there. And then Okay, let that do its magic. Yep, and now it's running it, and let's see what it says. Although it's doing npx sanity latest, so we don't need to necessarily do that. And if you want to check on what it's doing, typically you can see the browser itself, but I can't see that for some reason. To be fair as well, yeah, there you go. Let's see what it said. No, I don't want to do that. It's trying to do the latest one, so we can cancel that execution. Let's just do our own typegen. So we tried to do it now, extracting schema, and let's see. So it says separate typegen has been deprecated. Use typegen in the Sanity CLI. So I messed up here. Ah, yes. I remember I did do this typegen. It was actually inside. Oh, okay. So my one's interesting, not there. So in this case, we can do this one. You know what? Let's pop this in here. Actually, we can say fix this and also include the whole app. There you go, except no modules. So what I'm doing is I just gave it this, and now it can actually go and read that and figure out what's going on. Okay, so Sanity CLI is where we want to put it instead, and that is exactly correct. Yeah, so that's what we should have done in the first place. My one, interestingly enough, I didn't do that. So I'm not sure why that didn't actually work out too good, but 0 queries and 16 schema files. That's wrong. So in this case, it's not included the path, so it should go ahead and fix that now for us. There you go. App component lib sanity hooks utils actions. And now it should find it. And this is genuinely pretty handy stuff. Like, I'm trying to purposely, fall into some of these gaps to show you what's going on. But now you can see, look, it worked. Inline the image fragment, and it returned 34 grok queries, and it pushed it into Sanity types. Now, the rule of thumb is simple. If at any point you add a new query, you simply just have to do one thing, which is go ahead and rerun your typegen. But now we've got all of our types, we can safely run at speed, and our types will be checked, in the back. So we can make sure that, we can pretty much run very fast and know if something's going to break or not. So here we know the types. So this is why it can go ahead and say, actually, you can't do what you're just trying to do, and so forth. Okay. So the page.tss, let's do this one. So we need to create a couple of components for this page now. So we're back here now. So we need the dynamic map view, the filter sidebar, and Sanity's live. So in this case, Sanity fetch comes from there. That was a very quick fix. And the property grid we can fix afterwards. But the main thing is here. You see the dynamic view, this one, and the property filter sidebar. So let's go back and get those things. So property filter sidebar, property, I got a couple of things that we need to actually pop in. So property filter sidebar. This is that filter option. So we're pulling in from here. You could even, eventually ask it to shift that responsibility to Sanity CMS, and it will literally handle it for you. This is going to go ahead and handle things. We actually use the query parameters to set this up. And then all we have here is basically the UI for all of the filtering options. Okay. So go back over to the page. So we've got the filter sidebar, and then we've got the map, which is going to be for the actual dynamic map view. So the map is actually going to be more of an interesting one that we need to dive into. So if we go into our components, we have a map folder, dynamic map view, and property marker. Property marker is literally the property marker that pops up when you click on the actual price. Map view is going to be using React Map GL, which is basically Mapbox wrapper. And it's going to be responsible for allowing us to basically put the map onto the page. And then we have the dynamic map view, which is very important because the Mapbox library, or the npm package, basically is client only. So it's effectively a React library. So it doesn't play well with server-side rendering. So what we do is we use the next dynamic import to basically go ahead and turn off server-side rendering. And then the loading is while it's loading that library, what should it do? Okay. So we need to do a few things here. We need to actually install the missing components. So we need to install React Mapbox. So over on React Mapbox, we do React Let's just Google this quickly. I'll show you. Okay, what the hell? Okay, that's weird. npm. Okay, yeah. Go to React Map GL, and then we go to the homepage or the GitHub repo, and you can simply install it like so. Right. So we need both these libraries. So we are going to use pnpm. So I'm going to do the same thing, but pnpm I, and then simply, oh, I guess we could just do pm. Yeah, that's fine. pnpm I, React Mapbox, and React Mapbox GL. We can close the old app, by the way. We don't need that anymore. Cool. So now, there you go. Close this up. Clear the terminal. Command J. Cool. So a couple of issues still. We've got the filter sidebar freaking out, and we have the property grid freaking out a little bit. Okay. So the properties search query result is not assignable to type property. Okay. So we need to debug that one, and we need to go ahead and also get the filter sidebar fixed in. This is likely because of some nullish coercing checks, but we can go ahead and get that resolved fairly easily. This is super easy to fix, by the way, with AI. You can just literally go to, remember, start a new chat. So you have fresh context. We're going to do this one, and then I would also go ahead and just grab this one, fix in chat as well. And now you see how we've stacked. No, we didn't stack two. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that, grab this one. You can do them individually, but I'm being quite lazy right now. Pop that in, pop that one, and then I'm just going to say fix those two issues. Now, it's likely just going to be a case of, yeah, string or no. Okay, so what that means is if the amenity doesn't exist, we should address it. That's basically what it's doing. So it's going to be some form of null check here. And because we've given it the sanity skills, it will know and understand the best way to kind of approach it based on all the documentation. So rather than us sitting there working that out, you can simply just give it to AI, and the AI is going to handle it for you. There you go. See, not no. Yeah, it was a not no check. So I believe what could have happened is actually filter sidebar was using some of our own types, amenity types. Ah, yeah. So I needed to actually stop doing that, to be fair. Anyway, let that handle its thing. In the meantime, let's just check, does that load? So cannot resemble agent card. Okay, so we need the agent card. So where is that actually trying to load in from? So most likely one of these nested components. So what we can do is we can type in agent card, and it would be here. So we got quite a few components. So this actually is at the properties page itself. So when you click into a property, you need to do agent card, contact the agent button, the image gallery, save property button, and share property button, as well as the Sanity Live. Okay, so first up, let's quickly do an easy win here. Sanity fetch, and go and do this. And then the second one is we can go ahead and see now it's going to start complaining, yeah, because of lots of no checks. So that's the main thing. So you know what, we're going to actually let AI do its thing, because it's probably going to find a bunch of those. Remember, the way I built it, and we're using AI to code again, so you're not going to get the same results every time. Whereas if I just used my code exactly, you would have got the exact same thing. But this is kind of good, because this is actually going to be what's going to happen to you most likely. So I'm showing you how you can just debug it if you get stuck, basically, right? Bear in mind, I have the whole app built, so you can check it out if you want. You know? So agent card, let's go ahead and add these in. So agent card is an actual component, so inside a property. So here we have agent card, which has the lib sanity image. So again, I've put my URL for in a different place, so we can simply just import that. This one is just simply for, you know, showing who the agent is. Okay. Now, after that, we have agent card is done. We have property contact agent button. And that's interesting why I can't find that. Oh, I put in the wrong thing. There you go, property. My bad. Okay. And now we have the contact agent button as well. This one will do a mutation into the query, into the Sanity backend. So in this case, we have an action for leads. So the main thing to focus on, the rest of it, all of this is just UI, right? It's just a button with a click. There's this contact agent. Now, what we're doing is using transition. Now, transition is awesome hook because basically while anything asynchronous is happening, it's going to basically block. So it's going to be a loading indicator, right? So at this point, what we can do is we can have create lead. So it's our action. We wrap it in start transition. So while we're trying to create a lead, then we can have something, so it is pending, show a loading state. So in this case, we've got the loader, right? So that's effectively what we're doing. Actions are server actions, right? So in this case, if we go here to create lead, we need to create our actions. So if I go ahead and create our, oops, not this one, top level actions, we need to create the lead action. So in this case, leads. I've got a couple of things we need to do in here. So leads.ts. Now in here, we do a couple of things. So let's firstly, I need to use my Sanity fetch and my client. Okay. And the final one was lead agent. So possibly no. Okay. This is likely due to a few small checks happening. Because remember, my version could have been an old version. There's a few reasons why this could have happened, okay? But either way, yeah, it's figuring out, so let it do its thing, okay? So leads are now in play. This one we can fix afterwards fairly easily. So it's basically a no check. So you can either have a simple, optional chaining. But in this case, yeah, just want to not skip over that, sorry. Where we have the create lead. So I've completely just ignored what we were doing there. So we have our actions. This is the first thing that you need to know is at the top of a server action file, it has to have use server, okay? Then we've got a couple of our queries. Now the main thing is ensure onboarding complete is for later, but I want to show you more so the create lead. The create lead is here. When we create a lead, we basically get the user's authentication state via clerk's await auth. We check if they're not authenticated, then we basically check, are they onboarded, okay? So if I go to here, now this is at the top of the file, we basically get a clerk client. Now clerk client is literally from the clerk Next.js server files, right? Now what that does is it's basically going to give us access to a server instance of clerk, so we can actually manipulate on the server side. We can go ahead and get the user, and then we can basically go ahead and fetch them. If they exist, we can go ahead and update their metadata if they've onboarded or not, okay? And then check if the agent exists in Sanity, and we basically do a synchronization. So we sync the clerk metadata if we need to. The reason why we check the metadata is because that cookie is going to be with the user for that time. So, sorry, what is this done? No time, just previous. Yeah, nice, it fixed it. Okay. Let's see how it did that, by the way. Just quick little thing. Okay, so it's just casting. That's all it's doing. And then the cast is, oh yeah, the handwritten one. Yep, nice. Okay. So the main thing that I want to show you is the lead. So here we have the lead. We basically say create lead. So we check to make sure that the user is onboarded first. After that, we basically go ahead and check, are they already a lead? If they're already a lead, you've already gone ahead and contacted this agent. Otherwise, create the lead inside of Sanity, okay? And then return success true. Now, heading back over here. If we go ahead and do this, create lead, you guys can see here. Afterwards, the result that comes back, if the result was require onboarding, we show a message on screen, right? And also, I love this one. So dog.build says, please don't tell me that it's 2026 era of AI and you're still using paid libraries and pasting in full blocks of code on stream. Number one, you can feel free to build your own authentication or your own CMS system. You can feel free to build whatever you want. But that's going to be on you and it will take you a bunch of time. I've done this for 16 years now. I've done it manually. I've done it line by line. I've done it on stream for over 100 builds. So when I see stuff like this, it does make me laugh because those kind of devs, guys, I will call them out on stream right now. Dog.build sit. Check out the live chat right now. Stupidest thing I've seen all day, right? Pasting in full blocks of code on stream is what we've literally coded beforehand because it's a live stream. But I love calling it out because it's that mindset where you're going to get wiped, to be honest, with the developers who are going to leverage the AI side of things. So if you want to keep this mindset of building every library from scratch, good luck. I call them the basement dwellers. You can call them what you want. Okay. So in this case, we've got the image gallery next. So image gallery, is the next one. So we need to go ahead and pop in an image gallery. So image gallery.tsx. So here we have it. So this one, basically Sanity is handling a lot of this heavy lifting for us. I'll explain where it's doing it. So firstly, again, I don't know why mine installed in a separate area. There we go. Now I want to see the reply. Huh. I love calling it out on stream. It's so fun. All right. So the image gallery is very simple, right? We have basically go to previous, we have go to next, and then we have handle key down. I love that. All right. This one is basically when we're on that modal, if we press left or right, we're checking for the keyboard event. So we basically just trigger those things, right? The next one is the open the lightbox and the handle main in key image. So these ones are just key findings. The main thing I want to show you is it's literally just, we've actually, I was going to say, I actually built this itself. Okay, here it is, dialogue, yeah. This is using Shadcn's dialogue, right? So one thing I want to mention is if you are, using, for example, here, so Shadcn, say for example, the dialogue. Okay, why is this in light mode? What the hell? Okay, so if we go to the dialogue over here, right? So this right here, we're rendering the modal in this. Okay, so of course you can go ahead and install it like so. What I'd recommend is if you are going to go and AI or prompt your way there, to make sure that you get this as well as benefit from it and do all that stuff, make sure that you install the MCP server beforehand. And then when you're prompting, you can basically you can literally say to it, you have access to the, you can now use MCP command and code debug the MCP. So yes, fine. So you can basically go ahead and say, you have access to the MCP server and you can tell it. Yeah. So sometimes I find that if it doesn't know how to do something correctly, it will for Shadcn. It's a very popular library. But if you're using like very small libraries, I will literally go ahead and go to the page sometimes and I'll just copy the link. So Command-Shift-C on Arc, and I'll just paste it in and be like, use that, use the docs as well. And it's just way faster than doing it manually. Okay. So that's how we basically built out a dialogue box. We used Shadcn, right? And again, you can code anything you want from the beginning. It's the craziest thing when people say that. It blows my mind. I'm like, it's a very stupid thing to say. Yeah, you could go and build your own shoes, but you're still buying shoes from the store. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. All right, save property button. Let's go over it now. We need that one. So save property button again has an action, which is going to be for two things. We're going to check, is the property already saved? So that way we can know to show the love heart being red or not. And also toggle saved listing. So if it's liked, it's going to be unliked and so forth. Okay. So we need to create those two actions first for the save property button. And here we have it. So we have actions users, boom, actions users. Here we have it. So here we need to, again, this is very frustrating to be honest. These Sanity fetch ones, boom, this and the client. So this client actually, no, this is, so that client is actually an admin client, I believe. Ah, damn it. Okay. So where I've been pulling the client, this one. So we should have two clients here, to be fair. We should have one client be, okay, so we've got two things here to do, right? So while we're on production, it will use the CDN, okay? The token here, so we're saying the base client has write access. If we only want to use a read client, then we use this one right here, read client. This one can't manipulate data on the server, okay? So just two differences in case, right? Okay, so there you go. We fixed our issue. So the one thing I wanted to do was mainly here. So toggle saved listing, for example, right? If there is no user ID, we basically do an auth check first and foremost. And then again, it's a server action. So we need to make sure we have use server at the top. And then it was here. So if there's no user, when we check it, has the user already saved before? If they have, then we remove them from saved. Otherwise, we add them to saved. And how we do that is we basically go to the saved listings for that user and append in the saved listing field this property itself as a entry, and then we commit. Okay, so super simple. That's how we do it. Okay, Let's go into more context on that. Cool. Save property button, nothing really special here. Really, if you go into it, you'll see for yourself how the whole thing works. Main thing is, again, we wrap in a transition and then we have a try catch. And the main thing is this toggle saved listing. Right, so this right here is really the main part. So while this is happening, while the server action is being called, this will be is pending, or whatever we've decided to call it will be true. So in this case, start transition. Where's our transition? Is pending. Yep. Is pending will be true. And then if once it resolves, it will either be a successful outcome or an error. But either way, is pending will resolve and it will basically fall back to the heart afterwards. Okay. So that's done. And then we need the share property button. Share property button was actually something new to me. I hadn't done this one before, which was kind of cool to see. But you can use the native navigator on your computer or device. So what does that mean? Well, the native navigator, if we look at the share property button here, you can see here, await navigator. It's actually a web API. And it's kind of cool because this basically will pop up with, like, for example, if we're on iPhone, it'll pop up with the actual iPhone share menu. Or if you're on the, for example, whatever device you're on, it'll pop up with that native menu. So that's kind of cool, right? So at this point, we use that. And then we also have a fallback. Just if you're on, like, you know, an old browser, for example, and you don't have that navigator pop up, we just go ahead and just grab the clipboard. We copy it to the clipboard, okay? So there we go. Make sure, by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this content, just hit the like button because it allows me to really push this content more. And obviously a ton of work goes behind this build. So right now, destroy the like button for the channel, okay? So the share property button, now we have to go ahead and pop in, okay? So this is all happening because we don't have, see, no assertions, right? So this is going to happen quite a lot throughout the database, to be fair. What we can do is, it's happening everywhere. So I think there must have been a change from my API version to the one that I did previously, or some small change in the way that I set things up that's causing this. But either way, we can go ahead and get this resolved pretty quickly. So what I'll do is just get this in the background, and I can say, you know what, even better than this, we can grab all of this and we can say fix all of the you can just give it all of it and say fix all the lints. Basically, these are all relating to no assertions. So let it handle that while we carry on. Okay, Command I. Let's go over here, back to the main page. Now heading back over, can't resolve lib styles. So at lib styles. So let's close this up. At lib, and then we have styles. So at lib styles.ts. libstyles.ts, just a couple of color variants for when we do a few things like icon backgrounds and so forth. So that is all good for now. Where's the actual app? Here we have it. So this is our app, and you guys can see what's this error right now. API access token is required to use Mapbox. Yes, we need to do that as well. So here we have the UI. Now, one thing I want to show is this is that dialog that popped up, remember? And we can simply have, if we press left or right, it's actually working. So I can go ahead and do that right now. And then down here, we have the like button, and I haven't completed onboarding for this one. So we should error out. There you go. So it sent me to the onboarding, which is correct, but we haven't got the onboarding flow yet. Contact agent should go ahead and try to contact an agent. Again, we haven't got the onboarding flow. So it will send me to onboarding. We haven't onboarded. Okay. So this is actually correct for now. This is good so far. Let's do one thing. That while our code is fixing the lints, let's go ahead and set up the Mapbox key. Okay. And this is all happening because AI is doing some stuff in the background. So if we go over here, it's going ahead and just fixing these in the background. So let's do the Mapbox key, and we can go ahead and resume on. So Mapbox. What you want to do is create an account on Mapbox. I'm not going to do this. I've already done it. So you just need to sign up an account. Then you go inside, and one of the first things you'll see is a key, right? You just have to pop in a couple of details to get set up here, but they have a generous free tier. Okay, so once you have that, go into your environment variables, go ahead and paste in the key. Now, I'm not going to share my key because I believe it is paid after a certain rate, but I'm pasting in the key right now, saving the file, and I'm closing. Okay, now I go back over here, hit a refresh, and let's see. We should see, there we go. My key is kicked in. Okay, so that was the final of the keys that we needed to do. So this is now Mapbox inside the mix. Okay, and remember Mapbox, just to want to kind of bring it in attention again, we have over here the dynamic map view, which stops it from rendering on the server side. Then we have the map view is responsible for the main bit of work. Okay, so this over here is where the map is actually rendered out. When we move, what happens? The default style, the streets style as well, the token itself, and then in the navigation control on the top right. And the main thing is the markers. The markers being what you see right here. When we click it, what is rendered on that marker. Okay, so that's going to be a really important part. That's actually the pop-up here. Okay, so awesome stuff. That's now handled those errors for us. If we go over here, well, actually, I don't really like that. That's not really good. It's destructured each individual thing. So property agent, no, we don't want to do that. What the hell? So in this case, we can say something. We can basically say, we don't want to inline check like this. Like this, it's messy. So I would always review my own code. So that this is no, this is not good at all. I do not like this at all. And even here to Sanity image. So even here, what I can say is I can interrupt it and I can say stop. And I can do use Sanity image types. Don't recreate already existing types. Okay, and then you can go ahead and fix that. Now, of course, there are some repeated behavior here, right? So what you can actually do here is change your agent.md file, all your rules inside the cursor, or if you're using something like Claudebot or something like that, you can go ahead and tell it to remember these rules. Whatever the case is, if it does stuff like this, you can actually go ahead and prevent that from happening over and over again, right? You should not be doing this, like stuff like this. I would review the code. That is not good. That's bad practice. Okay. Okay, this is handling some. So put it this way: somewhere I know for a fact I've just set things up wrong on my side, and that's kind of frustrating because it should have been Sanity config. Let me just check something. Sanity config. Schema, structure tool. So it's just adding some no checks at the top. This is still cleaner. I don't like this to Sanity image. This is not nice at all. Into agent. No, what is this? What is that? No way. Nope, we don't want this. No. Bad pattern. Don't do this. Now I'm vibrating in the machine. This is kind of a tricky part about. The truth is, this is a tricky part about navigating with AI coding on live streams now. So part of me is even thinking we actually just start from a clean slate, and I guess I live code from the beginning. Maybe we do that in future builds. I don't know. That's really stressful. Do we do that? Crazy. I don't know. Maybe we do. Okay. So we need to definitely get rid of that. So that's not good. I think that could be a good idea, actually. Let me know what you guys think, because that could be something I could actually do on a live stream. I can show you how we prompt our way to the top, right? So let's just do a couple of things now. We need to run because we've got tons to do, right? So main thing is we'll let that fix up in what it's doing in the background. The main thing is the pricing page. Okay, so components, app actually main, the pricing page. So a pricing page in itself is a page. We have the page.tsx, we have the features, and then the simple thing is Clerk Billing handle all of the complex logic for us. So the main thing is all in this pricing table. Now, when we go over to that page now, so for example here, all we need to do is we need to enable it on Clerk side. So this is very, very easy. what we do is we go over to Clerk and we simply go to our configure. We go, or billing, sorry. Get started. Enable user billing, save. And now here you can see they've got a Clerk payment gateway, which is a recommended approach. Once we're ready, we can switch to the Stripe account once we're ready to go live. Okay, but for now, we need to create a subscription plan. Step one is we're going to create a plan and we're going to call this one agent because this is for paid agents. Okay, you can give it a full description and all of that good stuff as well. So in this case, we could say agent. The key is just going to remain lowercase, and we can say great if you want to sell properties. Okay, and the base fee is $29. We're going to say, oops, $29. We're not going to give an annual discount. We're not going to give a free trial, and it's going to be publicly available. You can also gate by features. We're not going to do that right now though. So do that. And then we're going to go back to this, and then we're going to disable the free plan because by default users are on the free plan. So we make it publicly not available. Now hit save, go back to our app, hit a refresh. And now what you can see, boom, we have our agent pop in. And because by default, all the users are free, right? So every user is already on a free plan technically. So we only want to have agent pop in like so. And you see how nice that is, guys? Clerk Billing made it that simple. And notice how on a phone it works. Everything just works great. And you even get this pay with test card. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say that, yes, I want to upgrade to become an agent. And now go ahead and click continue. And you see how just like that, not a single Stripe webhook, nothing else that I needed to do. And now we have billing. That bit if it wasn't already blowing your mind, that should have blown your mind because that is ridiculously simple. One line of code effectively to enable billing. And the crazy part now is, but Sunny, how do you modify? Thank you so much. He goes, I'll tell you in a sec. But go to the user profile. How do I modify my subscription? Well, you just go into the top. You've already got everything built in here. Clerk handle everything. Now tell me, the other guy who commented earlier, you'd want to build all that from scratch. I've done it a million times, by the way. I've built that a million times. You have to have webhooks and what happens if this changes and if we sync things correctly and all these things. Now Clerk handle it all for you. Single line of code, a pricing table. Crazy simple. And you can just focus on building your app. Billing your users and moving on to the app. Okay. So there we have it. That was the pricing page done already. Super fast. Okay. Now, next step is we go into the property list. Let's go ahead and see if this renders out. So that actually is, let's view all the properties and make sure that this bit renders. We already had the filters set up and the map view was just using the Mapbox component. Let's check if the filtering works. All this is doing is applying local state and modifying the Grok queries. So as you can see now, that's it. Right, everything works really nicely. We reset and we should get everything pop in like so. Right, that's super clean. Everything is mobile responsive. We've got this nice sticky behavior on the left, this nice kind of tab bar. Let's do the next one, which is the saved. And to do saved, we're going to have the onboarding flow. Okay, so let's build those two pages. So firstly, let's do the onboarding flow. So onboarding flow, again, very simple flow. We have an onboarding page, page.tsx. Now, what we're doing is we're checking when the user comes onto this page, are they onboarded? And we're going to talk about what is defined as an onboarding if you haven't already done that already, right? So we get the user, we go ahead and we check, is there metadata? Did we change something in the onboarding completed in the metadata? Because this is a clever thing. So I see a lot of students of mine, when they basically build out their sites, what they're doing is every time that the user basically changes a page or something, they're making a call to the backend to see if the user has onboarded. And that won't surprise you in the beginning, but when you get 1 million users on your app or it scales up, that's just such a bad practice to do. Okay, so like even when you're building with AI, just stick it in something like the metadata of the user. For example, in Clerk's case, right, when the user, they've got a clever way of making sure that, you know, the user is authenticated and they have the refresh token cycle and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do is, while the user's logged in, we just update their metadata. Now they hold on to that cookie anyway. And then if we ever need to refresh it, we can go ahead and get that data like we need to, right? So this prevents us from having that issue over and over and over again, right? So if they aren't onboarded, so in this case, if they are onboarded, it will just go ahead and redirect them. But if they weren't onboarded, then it will go ahead and say, welcome to Home Find or Nest. What is that? This would be Nest. Nest Homes. Let's set up your profile, and then we have the onboarding form. Okay, the onboarding form we are going to create. So for the onboarding form, that one is actually onboarding form. So we've got lots of forms, by the way. So what I'm gonna, there's a few things we could do here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the forms in, and then we'll run through them as we touch them. So number one is the onboarding form. Okay, the onboarding form, we actually are using React Hook form, which is part of Shadcn's form library. Okay, so the main thing is you set up a form schema. All we're collecting is the name and the phone number of the user. The next thing is we need the form schema itself. Now in this case, again, we have a few type definition issues. So I've definitely, I really have screwed something up in my schema side of things, because the fact I'm getting so many no's, even though if we did typegen, let me just double check something. Yeah, okay, it's fine. But I mean, either way, if you do want to, avoid these kind of workarounds, just grab my code afterwards. I'm just trying to rebuild to the point where we are at on my code base anyway. So you can feel free to just run AI on this, or you can go ahead and, fix that out yourself. So at this point, we are going to have the onboarding form. So let's go to, for example, try and save something. So if we try and save, we haven't onboarded yet. So it should throw me to the onboarding. Please complete your profile first. Then it sends me to onboarding. Nice. So once we're on this page now, I can go ahead and enter my name, phone number, and phone number is optional. I can go ahead and complete the setup. So when I complete the setup now, we can go ahead and see that I am now onboarded, right? So it takes me back, right? So in this case, you can actually redirect back to the main, the page you're already on. But let's go ahead and give it a try now. If we were to try and do this now, this should create a preference inside of that user's profile, which is perfectly done. And we can actually see this in action inside of Sanity. So if we go over to Sanity, so on the back end, so it was user, we should see Sunny Sanga, and these are all the other seeded users. And then here, missing keys, interesting, okay. Lead amenities, property agent. Here, interesting, it's not showing. Should be in the users saved listings. Oh yeah, I'm missing keys. Interesting. Okay, so it was there, the missing key. So that was a little bug that I had to fix, but yeah, the main thing is it's there. So save listings, and then it pulls it in. So I guess I should have actually had the key there, really. This is probably what this is, to be fair. No, it's not this. But either way, we're going to get this fixed as well. So, and again, start a new chat for that if you really want to, right? So get that handled. Now, let's go back to our app. So I want to go to my saved, or actually we've done the onboarding already. Let's go to our saved pages. This one's easy. So come on, right? Let's let that do its thing. So we want to go to our app. I get carried away with these builds. I make them so big. That's the crazy part. I really don't realize how big these apps get until I go live. And then I'm like, Sonny, next time chill. And I never learn my lesson, honestly. All right, but here's the saved page. So again, the principle is exactly the same, right? It's a server page, server component that renders out. Check if the user is logged in. Again, you actually don't need this on every page because we do this inside of the actual proxy.ts, which means, oh, guys, it could have been this. Damn it. It could have been that. No, it wouldn't have been this. Okay, either way, I feel like it could be this, but let's fix the proxy before we carry on with the saved part. So the saved is literally just a page. Let's go over here. Let's save listings, right? It just pulls them in from the back, but it's proxy.ts. We forgot to set this one up. Oh yeah. So there's going to be 4 sets of pages, right? We have it here. We've got a route matcher, which basically just says, okay, we need to make sure that, you protect against these pages. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have export the clerk middleware. So let me get rid of this one. I'm going to go over here. I have a feeling I screwed this up last time. So we're going to allow public routes. Okay. So this basically means everything else, every public route, cool, allow it. Oh, that's what I did wrong. I didn't return next last time. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So we allow the public routes and then let's go through it. Proxy is the new middleware. Yeah. So they renamed it. So it kind of makes more sense because every request is actually proxied through it as opposed to being a middleware. Okay. And then we have the next part, which is the protect routes that require authentication. So this part, right? So a no user ID. Cannot find this one. So, sorry, I forgot to actually get the user. This is how we get the user's details. So protect routes that require authentication. So this is actually going to be for where we redirect them to sign in, right? And then we can give the redirect URL to send them back to where they came from. Okay. Then the final one, not the final one, but check the onboarding status for authenticated users on protected routes. So if you go to a protected route, should you be redirected to onboarding? If so, we can check that by using the user's public metadata like I talked about before. And then if the user has completed the metadata, but they visit the onboarding, then it should redirect them to home. Okay, so here you see we can just write it once and we don't have to keep rewriting the same thing. Now agents as well require an active subscription. So for an agent to go to the dashboard, we're going to use the has. This is a really nice hook from Clerk Billing. So if you see, checks that the user has organization role or custom permission. And this has is actually really good because the plan is the agent, the billing plan. So if you don't have an agent plan, then we can redirect you to the pricing page. See, very nice. All right. But in this case, clerk equals await clerk client. We go ahead and get the user. We check their onboarding is completed. This is the agent onboarding, by the way. And then we can do the following, right? So if not onboarded, redirect to the agent onboarding. So we need to create that afterwards. So that, I believe we were missing in a lot of that, to be fair, before. Also, one thing that I did bypass, which I don't want to spend so much time on, but I'll kind of show you how to do it, is I forgot to show you guys the clerk setup for the sign-in. Now, what you can do for sign-in is if you do want to have a custom sign-in page, rather than just sending them to, a page which is just rendered on the Clerk website, you can just go ahead and in the main, you can have a sign-in. Oops, not this one. Sorry, guys. You can actually have in the main, you can have a sign-in route, and then it has to have a catch-all. This is called a catch-all, and it has to have sign-in, sign-in inside of it. And then you can render the sign-in component from Clerk. And why this is good is because now it will render inside of your layout. So it'll be like effectively have the header at the top, the footer, and then it will render that sign-in component, which is quite handy to have, right? So yeah, somewhere that has happened. I really just don't know, honestly, where that is, but it's quite frustrating, to be honest, because schema type definition. Oh, hang on. So it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that error came to be, for why that keeps happening. My setup was slightly different, and I should have started from the base starting point. But it's mainly just, yeah, it's always just addressing that no difference, which is kind of frustrating. But anyway, these are very easy to fix with AI. You can just throw them in and it'll fix it for you. Right? So afterwards we can handle all of that. For now, it's not a blocking error. Okay, so these will take us in. So now our user journey is effectively almost done. We got the profile to add in. So the profile is easy. We can pretty much grab the profile over here. Inside a main profile is just simple page where we go ahead and we fetch the user's information. Again, do we need these things? No, because inside a proxy, we should be checking for profile. Yeah, it's protected route. So you don't actually even need that, right? The reason why you can actually just get the user ID, but you don't need that first check, right? Then we fetch the user. And then if the user's not there, we redirect to onboarding. And again, you could, I think we did set that inside of the other bit. Clerk ID is missing inside of the type. And I believe we added in the custom types. I need to check I didn't screw up the schemas 1 minute, because I have a weird feeling I've screwed up my schemas. Schema types, schemas. Sanity schemas. Somewhere I've modified my user, and I, for the life of me, can't figure out where. And it's bothering me so much. I don't know if you can tell. Let me just double check Clerk ID. So my user itself is I need to match the case. Sorry guys, I'm just checking something on the other side. So on my types, that's one thing which I think I could have slipped. So this, where is this? Oops. And then for this one, not paid times. You know what, guys? It's not usually an issue. It's just because today, of all days, I'm live. So, wait a minute. Sanity types. No way. Oh my God, guys. I think I've found out Sanity types. No way. Oh my God. Where's the types? Sanity.types on it. Okay. I think I know why, guys. I think I know what happened. Okay, I never actually ran. Oh. That's my fault. Okay. I never actually ran my type gen on my one. I'm so used to just, okay. Oh, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We don't have to worry about it. It's fine. For now, you know what? I'm just gonna, oh, damn it. I really should have checked that. I know for future. That's fine. It's okay. All right. So in this case, it's because it's gonna be everywhere now. I see. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna say, there are many instances where we have no checking based on my schema. Can we change the schema at the source of Sanity schema to ensure that we don't have so many no checks throughout the code base. Scan the entire code base and make sure that we check for everything. And then what I'm going to do here is you can either have it in plan mode typically, but I'm going to kickstart that off because right now I'm going to have to change it in every single location like this to ensure that clerk ID is inside, right? It's excessive, right? So I don't really want to have that across the entire code base. So I'm going to change it at the source. So it's actually at the Sanity schema definitions, which means it probably will be changing it from an optional just to a, where is it here? So you see clerk ID is validation. We don't need to rule required. It is rule required. Interesting. Let's see what AI comes up with. Anyway, while that's running, let's just check out. We have our profile side of things, the agent profile, and we haven't set up yet. So in this case, let's go to our dashboard. So properties, the front end is actually done. The dashboard is what we need to do now. So if we go over to the dashboard, nothing is at the dashboard, right? So the dashboard right now actually doesn't have anything. So if we go over to dashboard, you can see it's empty. So step one, we need a layout for the dashboard. So I need a layout inside the dashboard. And this is where we have our dashboard sidebar. Okay. And then if the user is not authenticated, we actually don't need that as well, right? We don't need these two things. Oops. Okay. So dashboard sidebar. And then what we're going to do is we have the actual dashboard. So right now, this is not visible as a route. It doesn't say / dashboard. It only says / dashboard the second we have an actual photo with dashboard, right? Then we have a bunch of stuff inside of it. So rather than do all of this at one go, I think it's better I actually do it bit by bit as opposed to just dunk that in. That's too much. Dashboard. And I'm going to pop the page in firstly. It's going to be the home page for the dashboard. Okay. So step one is let's just fix Sanity fetch. And then we have the agent again, possible no. Yeah, so it's gonna be the same situation here. We can be sure though, if you're here at this point, you would actually have access to it because you wouldn't ever see that, or we can actually protect at the proxy level if you really want to. So at this point, this is the dashboard where you can manage lead listings and leads from the agent dashboard. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have the user ID. We're gonna go ahead and get the Sanity fetch for the agent's queries. And this is just going to go get the agent's information. So this is the listing count, the leads count, the new leads count, and so forth. And again, all of this is broken down in our queries table. All right, so you can see for yourself over there. So then we get the time of day. We'll say good morning, good afternoon. And then it'll basically go ahead and just render out the actual individual cards. So these are just Shadcn card components, basically, right? The ones that you saw when you got onto that screen. So over here now, the thing is, we go to the onboarding page based on the proxy. So here we can see if it's an agent route. So you see, we check the user. My user hasn't got this piece of metadata because they're never onboarded, which means that now they get redirected to the onboarding screen. So we have to do that page next, naturally, okay? So let's go ahead and just see, did it do it? So update components to clean up physical check. So let's have a look what it did. So in Sanity, update Sanity schemas to add required validation where it should not be allowed to be required.min. So property required. Phase 2, update TypeScript types to align with the Sanity schema. And then fix the grok query to include the clerk ID. It's because my queries went up today. That is why. Yes. I forgot to put in the query. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Update components to clean up the no checks. Yep, we don't need those huge no checks anymore. You see, that is what I'm talking about, right? But you see how, okay, here's a prime example, as if I just kept sticking a plaster over what it was saying. You see how it would have come up with all those nasty functions. This is a prime example of just understanding fundamentals helps out a ton. Because I knew that, what I was able to do then is say, go to the source, because I had a big feeling they would have been at the source level. Whereas if you just said, fix it, and you didn't know what you were doing, you see, you can really get to a point where messy code is being spat out left, right, center. It just gets super annoying, super frustrating. Okay. So in this case, yeah, this is fixing a lot of the issues for us. But again, even the ones that it's remaining, we can go ahead and just check for those as well. So now it's on the right path. Yeah, see, save property button, share contact button. There you go. Right, so let that do its magic now, and then we can come back to that afterwards. But that's good to know. Okay. So next up, we have the onboarding flow for the agent. So in this case, inside of dashboard /onboarding/page. Then we have the two things over here. So number one is the Sanity fetch. We just need to re-import. Number two is the action for the agent, which is creating the agent document. So remember, when we first become a paid agent, what we do is we effectively unlock the dashboard /onboarding page. That's all we've effectively done in the database level. It's only when we go to the dashboard for the first time that we onboard. And at the point where we onboard, we ask a couple of questions. And they're like, for example, what agency are you from, and all this kind of stuff. And at that point is where we create the agent. So they have technically onboarded, but now they also exist in Sanity database. So that's why we have this create agent document. Okay, so that we say it as a complete your agent profile, but really we've gated them up until this point, and then on that page is where we create the agent document. Okay, so at this point inside the actions now we can do agents.ts, right? So this is the agents.ts flow. So oops, and let's just hide the sidebar for now so you can get a bit jarring. So I want to do a few things. Let's get rid of these and let's do our own imports. Quickly fix that. And you see how much less errors it is now because it's finding those issues. Yes. Oh, and don't do that. Don't do that. Right. So I hate this when it does this. So never do as unknown as a fix, and I interrupt it. So this is a big no-no. Yeah. Bad pattern. You want to go ahead and call that out every time. So a couple of things, and again, this is kind of the good part of the learning cycle that I wanted to get you to. So let that kind of carry on, but you never want to do that, right? Create agent document, we get the user's ID, we make sure that they have the plan, verify that they're already on the paid plan, otherwise we throw an error, user doesn't have a paid plan, check if the agent already exists. If they do, we return the existing agent. Otherwise, get the user details from Clerk. And you might be wondering, but something you never already got there, but you should be defensively programming at the point in the server as well, right? And then you can create the agent document over here, and we return the agent. And completing the agent onboarding is similar as well. So you go ahead and you just update the agent in Sanity, like so, and then update their metadata. So this is the most important one. Onboarding complete and agent onboarding complete true. Okay, because you're actually technically onboarding both of their onboardings, right? Because the user would have been filled in at that point as well. Okay, so now we've done that. After we've done it, we do, if no agent document exists, create one, otherwise redirect to dashboard. So let's go to that page and you can see, look, we get our first onboarding experience. This error is that's actually because of I have something on my machine that does that. So the best agent in the world, you should always buy from this person. He's absolutely amazing. So Aisha Hamna says, I see people building more lovable, easily and faster. Do you think we should still continue with Next.js as devs? Guys, remember, look, what you're seeing on Lovable and what you're seeing on those things, they're really not the builds that you think they are. Like they're very surface level. Don't get me wrong, you can get some pretty decent app, you know, that kind of like does a degree of stuff. But the reality is, if you know what you're doing and you're an actual seasoned dev, I could go into it and I could pick out a million things that will break with that app in an easy, I can promise you that I could do it in 5-10 minutes. It wouldn't take me long at all, and I could rip that app apart. I've seen it because why? I consult. So I do consulting all the time in Dubai for friends, for businesses. So this is one big problem I see. They come to me, Sonny, we already built a prototype. It was very cheap and we did it XYZ. All right, guys, this is never going to scale. It's going to absolutely blow up in your face, and it is not secure at all. Yeah. So continue with Next.js as devs. Learn how to leverage AI coding, not vibe coding like in Lovable and those things, but AI coding. So AI assisted coding, is what I like to call it, right? We have our validation, the forms. I'm not going to go through the forms. This is the same form. We imported all the forms earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's do, for example, a license number, ABC, blah, 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 blah. And then agency, we can just say tester brokerage, right? Complete agent setup. Now, once the agent is done, let's go check on this over here. What is he up to? So, and he should have got rid of that issue. So after I said that, yeah, never do unknown as a fix. And now let me also check. Okay, so it is doing a check now, probably because our pre-existing terms. Okay, so that do is debugging. And also I just want to highlight, look at this guys, with the max opus, you see, 4.6, I'm at 153,000 tokens out of a million, just 936 used. Now, once that hits 200K, every request becomes double. So I want to basically, after I finish this fix, I want to start a new session. So you want to get into a habit of this and you'll save yourself a load of tokens. Okay. So let that do its thing. And then you can kind of, because that's where they're making a crazy amount of money. That is a very clever thing that they're doing. Not many people understand it, but that's really what they're doing, right? So add new listing is the next step. This is going to be /listings/new. So now we've effectively got CRUD functionality is what we're building, right? So we've got listings /new. So listings is a whole actual section of its own. So inside of dashboard, we have /listings, and then we have 3 different flows. We have the listings page itself, which shows all of the listings. We have the new listing page, which shows the listing form, as well as, the amenities, right? So in this case, this one's easy to do. We can already just pull that in. Oh, sorry guys. We can pull that in like so. And then the listing form we would need to create. Then we've got the ID, this one, right? And the ID is when you're actually on a specific listing itself, right? And that one will show the listing form because this is when we typically edit that flow, right? And same for here, this one could be optional training. So we're going to just fix a couple of these things. So the new page and this one are effectively very, very simple, right? Now the listing form we actually imported earlier. So we actually created that one before. The listing form effectively takes all the values for a listing and then basically sets and handles it. Now the main thing I want you to pay attention to is update listing or create listing, these right here. So these we have to create. These are the actions that we want to create. And this is where the main bit of work is happening. So inside of here, we have properties.ts. And then again, these annoying, God. Import this, import the client, okay? So this is where we effectively create a listing or we update it. So you would update it if you're on the edit flow. We would create it if you're on the new flow, on the onboarding new page versus the edit flow. This is the edit flow, this is the new flow, okay? Now, if we're on the new flow, check the authenticate, get the agent ID, create the property listing. So we create a property, a type of property, that's the type that is called in the Sanity database. We add the title, the slug, description, price, property status, the status as well. And then all of this is type checked. So make sure that it's actually correct and it goes in the database correctly, okay? Then we redirect the user to dashboard listings, okay? The dashboard listings is gonna be the main page. So imagine, so you've got the new page, this page, and then you've got the page where it loads all of the listings out, right? So 2 things that we can quickly get rid of is these 2 because we just need to fix imports for those. This is optional chained, and then the one, which is, I think it was client, is it? No. Okay. So I believe it could be these 2. Okay. So let's see what AI is doing. Architecture band pages are the boundary between Sanity generated types, always nullable on application. No, happens once the page levels, format then components receive clean. Okay, so it fixed a couple of grok queries. It cleaned a lot of the no checks, but we may still have a few of those issues that we're going to get to clean up afterwards. But the main thing is look at that usage. So here, 165K, right? So if it hits the 200K mark, just be aware that the price is about to go whoop, double opus, effectively, right? It's not actually double opus at the cost level on the API, but on Cursor, that's what they're charging. So Cursor is clever here, right, with what they're doing. So we need a delete listing button and a listing status button. So these 2, we can quickly go grab them. So delete. So this actually inside of dashboard, we've got 4 components in the dashboard, right? So components, dashboard, we've got 4. We've got delete listing button, where we have a delete listing, which was actually set up in actions properties. So if you see over here, this one just basically check the user was auth, and then we basically wanted to go ahead and make sure that the user is authorized before they can delete that property. So we need to make sure that they're actually the owner of the property that they're trying to delete, and then we authorize it. Okay. Otherwise, yeah, that's the delete listing button, and then the rest is just a drop-down menu item from Shadcn. And then we have the then we have the listing status button. So why is this freaking out? Okay, so this is all freaking out because of the property one here. So this property is being pulled from types, but we actually got rid of that type. Okay, so I actually changed my I actually changed mine quite a bit. So at this point in time, what we can do is if we could get rid of this. This is now, yeah, it infers the type. That's what I was doing a lot of the time. Damn it. Yeah, so we shouldn't. So listings has type definitions attached to it because this is what we set up in the beginning, right? So when you do a sanity fetch, these automatically getting casted the right type. So when we are casting it to a manual type, that's the problem sometimes. So we don't want to do that. Just let it infer the type. So infer means you just leave that and it should infer. If it says any, then no, you haven't set things up right. Oh, what's up? Nice. We have a Nigerian house. What's good, dude? All right, that's fine for now. And then we've got a few issues over here as well. Again, no checking and so on and so forth. Same with this, same with this. Again, I'm going to get AI to fix those ones out for us. Okay. Now, Sanity upload is inside of the components form image upload. So, Augustine, I'm good, thank you. How are you? All right, let's get rid of that. So, image upload. So, image upload. So, we use this inside over here, image upload, and we don't have a few of these things set up. So, React drop zone, we need to set up. So, React drop zone is one of the libraries we're using. This is an awesome package for drag and drop. So in this case, you can go ahead and install this. We want to make sure it's pnpm install, right? So install that, lib sanity upload. So we actually need to create this upload image to Sanity. So this one is inside of the lib. So we're going to have a helper file inside of our lib. So lib sanity, and we're going to create an upload function. So upload.ts, and this one is going to be from Sanity lib client. We need to pull that from. So here we have an uploaded image type. We basically pass in form data. We get the file from the form. We convert it to a buffer, and then we pass the buffer over to Sanity's client.asset.upload function. This is how we upload an asset to Sanity. Then we return that. Okay. We've also got multiple image support. So in this case, if it has several images, it will call that function instead. And then delete image is literally a client.delete call with the asset ID. Okay. And you can also protect at that level if you wanted to. It's completely up to you, right? So heading back, let's check. All right, we need to install Hello Pangea and DND. So this one, PMPMI. And we use this inside of the image upload component. So image upload, we need to install the DND library and also Sanity upload, which we've now done. I just need to import it the correct way. So where is it? Sanity image upload, boom. There we go. So let's have a look what we're doing here. So for the image upload, what's this error? These are small errors, it's fine. Okay. So I showed you a demo of this earlier, but the main thing to focus on is the actual image upload itself, which is the drag and drop, right? It's where we drag files in. So you can feel free to look at this yourself, and it will show the uploading overlay while it's uploading and all that good stuff. Now, the main thing is when you click on the actual upload process, when we actually click on the upload. So when we drop it, where are we using this? This isn't inside the image upload. Image upload. I just need to confirm listing form. Okay. So when we create a new listing, that's when we have the image upload. So what we're doing is on drop, we create placeholder items for the uploading state, and then it will go and try to upload the image to Sanity. So the image asset ID. Now you could argue that this is not the most efficient way of doing this, in my opinion. I would also maybe suggest that you do this if you were to refactor this. So right now it's doing it on every time we drop in, it will upload the image to Sanity as an asset ID, and then it returns the asset ID, the URL, and we're passing the URL like so, the asset reference and the placeholder. Now this is not the ideal way to do this. Really, we should do this at the point of submission, right? So I'm not going to refactor it now, but that's just something to absolutely know. In my opinion, I would have changed that had I got more time, right? But that fixes the uploading situation. Now heading back over, Lodash is another library that we are using. So in this case, I use that for debouncing. Lodash is a pretty cool library, to be fair. A lot of the time you'll see me using debouncing techniques. Debouncing is basically when we type into a user input field, for example. Sometimes we might have it where we don't want it to every key press to trigger a new search. We want it so after I stop typing, it waits like, for example, 2 seconds, and then it triggers a search. Otherwise, every single time I key press, that's going to cause, something to get submitted. So we don't want to have that happen. So lodash.debounce, I did install. So let's have a look. What do we use it? All right, so here we have it. Oh, so it's actually just that library. Okay. pm I lodash debounce. Right. We use this when we're doing address auto completion. So that's part of the form that I didn't show you actually. So part of the form was the address auto completion. Remember that step? Also, what's up, Maurice from Kenya? I'm a competent senior Next app developer because of you. Thank you, man. Jay, screenshot that. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, dude. Just do me a favor, hit that like button on the video if you're enjoying the videos, right? Here we have the address input. So what we do is basically we have it. So where is my handle input changer? Debounce search. So when we type in, so that you can go find the input down here. But when we type in, handle input change kicks off, and then we trigger a debounce search. Now use memo, wrapping this is basically saying, after a certain amount of debounce time, so this is what we use the debounce function for, it will fetch suggestions. And this is where we have the logic happening. So we basically get the token, we set the suggestions, and this one is then going ahead and sets this. You could just wrap this in a use transition hook. So I would have a start transition here instead, ideally. And then encoded in query. So it's basically just giving us the URL. This is just basically an API call. So there is probably a Mapbox library that I should have used here. But in this case, we've got the api.mapbox.com. I would have preferred that this used the library. So if I was refactoring this, I would literally just put this into add, make sure you use the Mapbox library. Simple, let it do that thing. Now it will come back with the TypeScript definitions, because response is typically not going to have, I don't know what the actual data.features is going to be any, right? We don't want that. Typically, we don't want that. We want to have TypeScript. So typically rewrite this to be the, we can do it right now. So I could just say address auto completion, use the Mapbox library instead of a REST call. A REST fetch, sorry. So a fetch call. There you go. And then quick water break. So geocoding, let's just see if it can find it. See, it's installing the type definitions as well. I'm going to show you this in real time. So you see we're here now. So I'm talking about this part. Right now it's just doing a blind fetch call out, right? And this is kind of handy because I'm teaching you guys mainly more about even how to review AI code, for example, right? So in this case, yes, AI wrote this bit. So in this case, for now, post to address auto completion, we can use the Mapbox SDK, geocoding. And now let's have a look. And you see what's happening now. It's not matching the type definition. So let me fix the type compatibility issue. As unknown. No. See, this is terrible. Never use as unknown. Terrible practice. Issues the SDKs while Mapbox express number instead. Customer unknown. I'll remove the custom Mapbox feature and use the SDK's own type directly. So instead of this now, it's going to be importing it from the Mapbox SDK. Whoa, what is happening with my voice? And then it updates our state. It updates our, yep, there we go, features, and that's much cleaner. Cool. Now let me check the context properly. SDK, this is missing types. Missing types, this one. So this one we can do PNPM, save I, PNPM, save that types. Sometimes that happens, right? And then you just have to, yeah, there you go. So now we can test that part. So if we type in 1, 2, 3, this is now using the library. So we can see, oh, hang on a minute. That's not working. 1, 2, 3 main. Oh no, it is working. Yeah, so I have to add in more information. There you go, look at that. Now we have types. Awesome. You see, like a quick little review. And this is a prime example of, like, say we didn't use that, right? Or like, say for example, let me just quickly find something. 1 second, guys. Past address result. Address result. Now we can be a lot more type safe with this, right? The main reason why I paused there is I was just checking something around this. So imagine if for whatever reason they changed that API, that would immediately break and you would have no idea. So the reason why it's good to use a module, like, you know, instead of a fetch call, is because behind the fetch call, we never know what they could change things, they can mess things up, whatever the case. They shouldn't, but they can do that, right? Whereas if we use a dependency or a library, then we can be sure that if we don't update that library, then if they're a good company, then they should be consistent, right? So that's the thing that we need to understand. They could overwrite things, and yeah, that's actually possible, but typically people don't do that, okay? Now, heading back over here, we can see, let's give it a try. So, let's do it. So, test property 1, 2, 3 lane. Oh, yeah, okay. Spouse property, massive place with a great view. It's awesome. It's going to be a super cheap property, $100,000, right? And then apartment. Drop a couple of images in. Let's just pop in the Mapbox logo. Let's just pop in a few of this, and let's just say it was 2 square feet, right? 2 square feet, year built, boom. And you can see we've got the overlays. A couple of these things done. Addresses, there you go. We can even cancel that one off, and we can go ahead and say something like 97942 Main Boulevard or Southwest Avenue. And there you go. Found the address. Create listing, boom. And you can see, year built. There you go. We've got some validation there. Let's go ahead and create this out. Boom. And then this one should be going ahead and creating and then redirecting us over to the listing page if it worked correctly. So, yep, there we have it. Perfect. So we have the listing right here. Then we have the status. We have active, pending, and sold. I can change these statuses. Let's go ahead and try that out right now. I change the status to, for example, pending. Oh, I don't think I did that right. But in this case, let's do edit. Let's do the edit flow instead, right? I'm going to change the edits. Let's do test property 1, 2, 3, 4 lane. And then let's do update listing. Let's give that a try. And then listing updated successfully. Go back into the next page. So it should redirect us back to the listing. or maybe it doesn't, because you can just, I guess, be here. If we were to go back to listing ourselves, 1, 2, 3, 4 lane. Nice. Yep. Cool. Now add listing. Let's see this. It's perfect. That works great. Then we've got the lead inbox, the overview works, lead inbox and agent profile and billing. Okay. So these two. So billing is super easy. It's literally a one-liner. So I'll show you right now because of Clerk. It made it super easy. So billing is, we can use the pre-built components from Clerk to make this super easy. So we have listing dashboard, billing.page. And you can see here, user profile, but we have to change the routing to hash. And I'll show you what that does. So if we go over here now, it just means that if I'm here, notice the URL. If I click that, it's #/billing, #/security, #/ and so forth. So it's basically doing router bit, the router over at the top here. Okay. And that's just clean as hell. Now look at that. Now, just from there, you can have an immediately usable thing going on. Right? Like, honestly, if you're building a SaaS product or something like that, you don't need to overcomplicate it. Like, get customers on. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Someone got timed now. I don't know what they said. Let's see what they said. They said, oh, no. Jay, that was a bit aggressive. Turn that one off. Sorry about that, dude. If you put a few emojis, our Nightbot thinks you're spamming. Jay's gonna turn it off. That's cool, right? And then, but you can see, like, build this and then let them manage the subscription. Verify that you can get customers instead of spending ages building out systems manually, not getting a single customer, and then repeating the process. It's a silly way to work, right? Let's do the lead inbox next. So lead inbox is /leads. So /leads, and it's a page, right? And we pretty much already have everything ready for this, because it's pretty much presentational, the whole thing. So firstly, that is no. Now this is all because we're inferring here. So if we get rid of that, you see how we remove the inference, and now it will go ahead and grab the type from our types. Okay. If we go down here, you can see lead status select, again, a no check, right? Lots of no check issues around the app. Okay. But in this case, we should have, let's go ahead and do that. And hit a refresh on the leads. This one is fairly straightforward, guys. It's literally just a table that renders out, and the leads are those in the inside of the database. So agent leads query, you see, we just filter for all the leads and we get the agent and so forth. Okay. Now this one is going to be okay. Let's go to the final part, which is the agent profile, which is managing your profile. So for the profile, we have profile, page.tsx, and then I'm going to go ahead and change this bit. Sanity fetch, like so, agent profile, and then again, a no check. Okay. So this one mainly is, again, we check that the user is logged in or not, again, but the middleware guarantees. That's why I just wrote a little note here. And then we've got the agent profile, and the main thing is we've just passed in the agent profile form. Pass in the agent, and the agent includes all of the data from the agent themselves. Again, now here, say we didn't do that. Say we just wrote agent. We should be able to grab that from our types. So that, I need to mess around with something, but right now I'm casting. This is not the best way you want to do this manually here. We actually want to do it from our sanity type. So our sanity types.ts here, there would have been an agent. So this type is the one that I actually would have wanted to pull in from. So agent from, it's interesting, I can't pull it from my types. I'm wondering, so from sanity types, yeah. So that is really what we should have had. The entire agent, like so. And then agent.bio and so forth. Now, of course, that's gonna now break because we're spreading the agent here, you see, like, and so forth. But like, that is a refactor that I would have done. Okay. We're not gonna do that now on stream and change it all and do all that kind of stuff. But again, you could just tell AI now to fix that and basically say, so for example here, okay, I'm gonna say, let's do that actually, because I think we're near the end now. So firstly, I just want to show you, this is the profile form, super easy. You can save the update. But let's do something a bit better. So here, I'm going to say, let's say, don't manually type interfaces types ourselves as we currently do in types. Instead use the source Sanity typegen types sanity.types.ts. This is what we should be doing, guys. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do that. And really what you could do here is you can switch it to plan mode. That's actually probably the best thing you could do here. And now it's probably going to find errors in our app, if anything, because that's what we should be doing, because that really is going to make sure it's correct in a lot of places. But you also have to factor in, Grok tends to fetch data in a way where I can maybe fetch one field if I want, or the whole thing. So we have to factor those things as well. So it really depends on what you're doing. But if we're in the case where we're getting the entire profile back, those kind of things, yeah, it can be different. So here, for example, the agent profile query. Yes, that's the best way of doing it. That's good. Yeah. So in this case, this is the way you want to do it. So this, you'll notice, is actually from the agent profile query. So naturally, that will create an agent profile query result type, and that's the one that we want to use. And we can tell it to scan the rest of the app for those exact situations. So the remaining then blah, blah, is somewhere. So we can say scan the rest of the app for the same similar fixes. Type name is missing, so we can fix those afterwards. And now what it will do, did you see? It spins up tons of these little sub agents, I guess. And this is exactly the issue, yeah. So it's going to read all of the different files. And in this case, we can see, yeah, it's starting to fill up the context quite a bit. So it's reading all of these different files, understanding what's going on. And by the way, it's worth understanding that if you don't already know about this, if you go into cursor settings and start understanding, guys, like how sub-agents work, how skills work, rules are effectively like this similar across different agents. Well, I mean, they all are, to be fair. It's more like AI agent coding practices. But the main thing is sub-agents. Sub-agents are incredibly incredibly powerful because you can run things in parallel. Okay, so even if I was to tell it right now to go and do those changes in parallel, that could be kind of a useful thing to do, right? So we could say use sub agents to handle this faster. I mean, I'm gonna just push it a bit here, but obviously typically you'd want to wait for it to actually find out a quicker solution. But in this case, you can see that to parallelize the work of replacing. So in this case, what it does is it has a top agent who basically understands what the workload is. Then it will split it into parallel tasks. And then it will spin up in a moment a few sub agents. And the sub agents can actually be different models as well. So different things to kind of approach it. So, and now it's trying to figure out that exact thing. Like property card needs to accept whatever structure comes from the property search query result, or it could have been another one. And this is a very true point. If you worked with Sanity before, this is an absolutely valid point. You could even say Sanity best practices. We could have actually put this in, right? And even this content modeling best practices. So we could say, use the skills to help. let it spin up something. You know what, we'll just interrupt it quickly, because I actually want to see what that will do. Okay, now I just want to mention, as that's loading, I think we've actually just finished the app. So that is actually the entire app kind of complete. We have the full payment flow. We're going to do a full dummy run of that afterwards, but before all of that, we're going to make sure that we get this down correctly. There's also one thing I didn't address, which we need to address. So if we go to /studio right now, we can see here that in the studio, where is it? Here. So this does not look like the original layout that I had, right? So we can, you know, actually it does, but it was inside of our Sanity config. So we didn't actually customize the structure. So you can actually customize this if you want. Right now, we didn't actually customize it. But if you do want to customize this and have it, you know, maybe the layout in a totally different way, the way you do it is there's something called the structure. So over inside of our Sanity config, you can see here, we have Sanity structure tool. And then we pass in the structure, and that comes from our Sanity structure. So here, so this file right here is the one where you can actually go ahead and, you know, really customize it out if you really want to. So this is just by default listing out the document items, the list type list items. So basically each different type, so property, agent, lead, user, amenity, but you can actually fully customize that if you really wanted to. So you can see this is going down a rabbit hole now of trying to fix this. And of course, I'm using Opus 4.6, so it could even take a little longer sometimes. And there is also a trick where you can do ampersand, I believe. Is it this? Or is that, I'm thinking about Cloud Code. I'm really going to go ahead and, what's it called? Get those ironed out. I keep switching all the time between different things. I'm doing a bunch of workflows at the same time. So I kind of forget sometimes. Somebody says, 0 jobs for juniors. Let me see that message you deleted, and he's still programming. That's ridiculous, guys. Don't fall for the fear mongering, right? The truth is that here's the truth of the AI landscape for everyone who's tuned in, because honestly, there's some incredible retention today, right? So the biggest thing about the current AI space right now is you can see here we have powerful models. 4.6 just released. It's powerful. I'm telling you, after 17 years of coding, it's powerful. Trust me. Okay. Does that mean that you should be scared of AI, you know, coming along and taking all your jobs and all that kind of stuff? Absolutely not. But don't be worried about it taking your job. What you should be worried about is if you don't start leveling up, because put it this way, there are devs out there right now that who know how to use AI in a very good way. They know how to review what the AI outputs, and they know how to code tremendously fast as a result of using tools like this, right? Or Claude Code, whatever you're using, right? I have AI running in tons of different places. I have it in an OpenClaw bot. I have it in Claude Code terminals when I'm away. I have it in Cursor right now. I pay for all the Mac subscriptions. Trust me, it's worth it for me, right? The point is that if you are not doing that and you still are line by line learning and coding, your feedback loop is too slow and your output is too slow. That's the truth. So you have to learn how to do correct, like basically prompt well, and also have the fundamentals down on the coding side. Get those two dialed in, and then you're on your way to absolutely doing some really cool stuff, right? Ignore the fear mongering, ignore that stuff, because those will be the first people to get chopped, because that's the truth, because you're just scared too much. You're not actually doing anything about it. Instead, focus that fear into actually learning the new stuff and make sure that you're just up to date. Make sure that you don't mess around with jumping from one tool to the next tool to the next tool in terms of like an IDE. Just lock in on one, learn how to use it really well, and then slowly level up and find out how it can all, you know, the different IDs might be able to help you and so forth. But the main thing, really, my biggest advice is just be playing with this stuff daily. Like, get so good at AI coding. And there's a feedback loop everywhere. Prime example, right? If you don't understand something, let's say, for example, you don't understand this, rather than sit there and be like, oh, I don't understand it, someone's going to take my job. Come on, Kay, explain this. Start using AI to teach yourself coding. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, use the loop of what you should be doing. Like, don't just sit there and accept defeat, right? I'm going to create an entire community where we're going to have weekly coaching calls. where all of this is going to be included basically as part of like the AI coding sessions that we're going to be running, right? So I think it's going to be massively, tremendously useful for you guys. But I just want to really stress that point because it's more true now than ever. The lazy developers are going to lose their jobs 100%. The junior developers who aren't going to go ahead and, you know, figure out how to become, you know, a next gen developer. I'm going to tag that line, right? The ones who aren't going to become a next gen developer, yeah, you're going to get left behind. And probably chances are, why would someone pay for you when they can pay for someone who can leverage the AI system? So, and the funny part is it's actually a lot easier now to learn this stuff. So it's way easier than manually coding this stuff. So yeah, really, really, really stress that point. While this is happening, you guys can see I've got 4 sub agents happening right now at work. So this is now working on 4 tasks across with the migration that we were doing. Right, and this is a really cool pattern right now. You see this? Look at that. It's very, very nice. Like it's going ahead and updating different ones based on which ones that making sure that they're not going to affect each other. And this is basically going to fix up the entire code base, right? Now, before I did this, how would I actually run this workflow? Well, typically I would have started on a clean branch. I would not have all these changes here. And then I would have actually had each one typically maybe, you know, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can have them each work on separate Git trees, or you can have them work in the way that they're working right now and then just do a big review process at the end of it. Depends on what your flavor is, but that's just how I like to do it. I like to work on it like this, where it's just effectively doing this, and then I'll do potentially a big review like this at the end, right? Not this many. You should never be doing this, letting it group up this much. Okay, I'm only doing this because we're live streaming right now. But there you go. See, sub agents in action. If you see, if this is a prime example, say you got really good at just doing single prompt, single prompt, single prompt. There's someone next to you who might be understanding how to use sub agents and then racing through the code base way quicker than you. Again, it's not about speed, it's about the quality, but the reality is that you could have sub agents checking quality checks and doing a bunch of other stuff. Like, understand the tools that you have, understand skills, understand MCP servers, understand all this stuff, because it is going to be the difference between the ones who keep the jobs and the ones who don't. Grandpa K420 says, hey Sunny, do you like Windsurf or Cursor more? 100% Cursor. I'm also not against Claude Code. I actually have a OpenClaw bot that I've built. I'm literally shooting videos on it at the moment as we speak, where that's doing a bunch of coding for me as well. But I'm heavily still involved in actually coding, especially it's more architectural, high level approach now and making sure things are good. Somebody says, have you tried Codex 5.3? No, actually, we've been invited to try a few things with the new app that just got released, but I haven't actually played with it. But I've heard good things about Codex, especially when you're working on several projects at once. So your boy's going to try it out, let you know how that goes, and then of course I'll give you my feedback. Okay, so this is now done. It's check, and yeah, I probably spent a bunch of tokens on that. Well, it wasn't that bad actually. And you guys can see it's done a couple of replaced by Sanity typegen or no longer imported. Amazing. So now it's going to go ahead and do the final one, and then it's probably going to find a bunch of errors everywhere based on, you know, it could be lints, it could be a few things. But the main thing is that now our app is a lot more type safe. Yes, this is correct. This is exactly the way we should have been doing it. This is much more better. Now, let's see what it does. So it's basically gone ahead and done the 4 sub-agents. And now the next step that it will do is it will bring all of that information back to the primary agent, who will then determine how to put it all together or, you know, proceed. All 4 sub-agents completed. Let me do a final lint check across all the modified files. Okay, found 11 errors. And then it'll say, you know, these, for example, all clean, only lint issues. Right now, of course, some of these things weren't touched. For example, like this stuff, form schemas and so forth. So I can now spin off another context to basically say, go fix that if I want to. Or right now, we're not so deep, but we are deep, yeah. So all types are now derived from Sanity types. There we go. Very nice. This is going to be a lot more robust now for an app. So hopefully that made a lot of sense to you, and actually your app is a lot more robust because of it. The main thing now that you would want to fix is this. So what I would typically do is spin up another one, go here, pull in this, and then I would say across the app, we have similar lints, fix them. And again, what would you do there as well? You can actually go ahead and if we were to stop this, go into plan mode, right? So plan. So what plan mode will do is really nice plan mode, by the way. And I find I get way better results in plan mode, right? So you want to plan it first, then this will typically, you know, it can spin off sub-agents in composer models, which is way cheaper and so forth. And it can basically just plan a really nice approach as opposed to going, what's it called? What's this? Performance when you check the different import parts of it. That's interesting. Why is that? Yeah, but basically, once you have a plan in place, then you can iterate through a plan, and you spend way less tokens, by the way, because you'll get closer to a much better original plan than you would if you just one-shot it off the bat, right? Right, so Abby says, do you have all the features you are mentioning in VS Code, so in GitHub Copilot? Because as a student, we have all those expensive models as well. Well, firstly, if you have those models for free, you should be absolutely flying right now. And I would be testing everything, and yeah, you don't have to pay for it. Secondly, my advice on cost of things right now, guys, in the reality of your career, $200 is very, very small if you're wanting to go into the big leagues, right? It's an absolutely small price to pay for the power you get. Pay the price. I pay $200 a month, and I have like 2-3 different subscriptions. I pay nearly 1,000 in just AI costs and stuff like a month, and it's just so worth it because the ROI is huge. So it's not even a question. Grandma K says, also a quick question: are you not using the thinking model because we're live and you want fast? No, I am using the thinking model. This is 100% thinking. Opus 4.6 thinking, and I'm on max mode. So this is definitely the thinking model. If it wasn't the thinking model, you wouldn't be having these little prompts where it's basically doing reasoning. Okay, but this is great. I love this back and forth, guys, by the way, right? So right now it's going to go into, so this is kind of more of a Zod issue right now, to be fair. But the main issues are primarily resolved. So these are all going to be pretty much Zod or no references. Yeah, so these are all just very easy fixes. See, like these can be handled in a couple of ways. Right now, these are lazy fixes, to be fair. Do you write test cases? And if you do, what do you prefer? So it really depends on what stage I'm at. I love this, by the way, little Q&A before we wrap up. So do I use test cases, and what do I prefer? Test cases, yes, for some apps. It depends on, like, if I'm just prototyping an early app, then no, I'm pretty much just building and I want to see if it has market fit. I'm not going to waste time building test cases. If I have an app with paid users behind it, however, so for example, when I do client work or agency builds out for clients, then yes, if there is a feature that cannot break, then 1,000,000% that is having test cases on it, as well as automation testing. And now you can go so far because you can actually have, you can not just have automation testing like Cypress and all these things, but you can actually have like OpenClaw go and test the damn app. So you can do some pretty cool things. Adash goes, do you write, Max Learning goes, thank you, Sonny, and your team. I managed to get an internship last year, June, and I seem to be getting an offer soon. Hey, let's go. Jay, screenshot that. That is awesome, man. Well done. Congratulations, Max from Namibia. Oh, amazing stuff, dude. Absolutely awesome stuff. Super proud of you. Really, really nice. So look at this. Look, now it's creating a plan. So the project uses Zod 4.3 and hook resolvers functions 4 overloads. Okay, when I'm importing Z from Zod, schemas have Zod version -3, which doesn't match any overloads. Change import from that to change import from... do we really want to do that? Methods, so no other code change required. We can try. So it's just saying that there has Zod 4. When we use Zod resolver, it has 4 overloads which push it to use Zod 3. Okay, so in this case, it's implementing the changes. And that actually did fix, yeah, that actually did fix a lot of them. So it was actually, these are likely just, yeah, smaller fixes. For now, I'm just gonna be lazy with that. But current status, this would actually be something like, you know, new or active. Sorry, it shouldn't be shouldn't be these. And the date as well. This could be a new date, ISO string. So rather than just putting a random thing. Okay. So yeah, you can basically go through your app and debug it and get to your point like this. But in this case, even this one, this is freaking out. Why exactly? Because it's not sure. So yeah, you can do the same thing here. But the autocomplete isn't working. But anyway, you can do that. You can say this, or active or new, because we're on new page leads. Yeah. But there's so many ways you can get through a code base. But you can see, like, manually to do all of this stuff, it would take a lot of time, to be honest. Whereas here, you can be pretty quick with it. Okay. Properties here, feature properties, query, feature properties. Let's look through. Let me see. Property grid pulls in. Oh no, I guess it's doing it from here. Okay. Yeah. The skills you import at the beginning, does the agent get them automatically, or do you need to tell him that? Because sometimes I don't see it in the chat where we can see what he did or used. This is a very good question, guys. So skills should basically get pulled in if they are relevant, but it doesn't always do it. That's what I found. So let's look at a great skill from Clerk, right? So this one right here, this skill was awesome. It set everything up for us, okay? So it says, for example, a description. The description is what determines if it's going to get pulled in or not. So add Clerk Authentication to any project by following an official quick start guide. Okay. So adding Clerk, this skill sets up Clerk for authentication. So basically, based on the description, it's going to basically allow our agent to understand, okay, I have these skills with these descriptions. Does it match any? I'll pull it in. It doesn't always do it though, in my opinion. So I have found that I tend to actually put / and then I put the skill in manually. That has a much better chance of, that will use the skill 99% of the time. Planning first tends to use fewer tokens, which is why I like to create a plan before letting it write code. From what I've seen, planning costs fewer tokens than jumping straight into code. 100%. I 100% agree with you. I think always plan first. I'm live right now, so it tends to be a lot more, I just kind of like shoot, because it's kind of like we don't see what he does. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You should be planning first. Grandpa says, are you using skills in your cursor? Sorry if that's a lot of questions. No, I'm 100% using skills in my cursor. Yeah, I have skills in, right now in this cursor, I have, obviously this is project based. Today we installed these, but yeah, I have a bunch of skills in my own. Tends to be similar to how I showed you earlier via skills.sh over on that side, right? So tons of this stuff, we have it as well. Ali says, what do you think in your mind while coding? Do you remember all of what you coded? I saw that you didn't see the UI in the browser. Do you imagine it in your mind? Okay, so it's a good question. So typically, I would say it's kind of an experience thing. I've done so many apps and builds now that I kind of can, I can conceptualize it to a good degree. But to be honest with you, no, not all the time. So if I build something, what do? I tend to have it on another screen. So obviously I prepped a lot of stuff beforehand in this stuff, so I can actually talk about things and explain concepts before I tend to actually show it on the screen. If I am actually coding in reality, I have many screens around me. So basically I tend to have always a actual preview of the page that is currently being changed or whatnot. And then I'll see it in real time being changed, because there could be errors. It could be a couple of things like that. But even then, agents can test out browser renders now as well. Because as you see, cursor spun it up in a browser in the beginning. But guys, this is amazing questions. I really appreciate all of you. What I do want to say is, before we do a final demo tour, if you want more interaction like that, simply go ahead to popreact.com/course. Join us over there, please. I promise you, the link is in the description down below. Why am I so pushy right now on that? Because I have the most incredible community coming so soon. And the reason why it's being backdated a little bit is because there's just so much stuff happening right now in the AI space. Like, I'm keeping up, I'm pushing content, I'm doing a ton of stuff, and I really need a new community area where I can put all of this information. So that is on the way. So if you join Zero to Full Stack Hero, not only are you going to get everything needed to know all the fundamentals of how to code and be a badass in coding, but then you also get 50% off when we launch that community for life. Okay. So this is going to be something that I really stress. I can't say it enough, because guys, I promise you, we are going to fly in that community. The Papa Fam is back stronger than ever. This is literally what it's about. So get in front of it before, you know, the space just flies away from you. Okay. I love this comment. Grandpa says, dang, you're always on top of the latest text, man. I remember you from React and Redux era. Dude, that's it. Honestly, and I have students, by the way, that have stuck through all the way, many one-to-one students, in fact, and now they're absolutely killing it in their spaces, right? So I want you guys to do the same thing. So don't forget, join us over at puppyrat.com. And always, as always, guys, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to start the only way that I know how to wrap this up. Oh my God, not this. What am I doing? Let me find the one song that we all know so well and that we all love. And by the way, a lot of the time I get a question, what is this song? It's called I Want to Be With You, and it's the Daxton remix by Loving Caliber, in case anyone's wondering, okay? So here we built today a Zillow clone Nestwell, right? A real estate platform, beautiful, mobile responsive, works amazing. We went over a ton of bugs fixing, how to navigate AI coding. We have a bunch of search functionality inside of this app as well. So you can go ahead and search different properties. You can go ahead and we've got a full filter list over here. You can go ahead and look through everything, sign in, full authentication flow. If we go ahead and sign in right now, we can give it a test. Let's go ahead and do puppyrat.team@gmail.com. I haven't actually logged in with this account before, so it should be a fresh account. We have a full billing flow, onboarding flow. We have the ability to list new properties, reach out to agents. We have all of this stuff happening right now. It's been absolutely awesome to go ahead and show you today. Right. So if you want to become an agent right now, Clerk Billing came in absolutely clutch. We can go ahead and become an agent. And then just like that, account has been built. Boom, we have billing happening. On the back end, all of this is being hosted by Sanity Studio, by Sanity themselves. We have Sanity Studio to actually go in as an admin, look at what's going on, if anything ever needed changing. That's why you don't need to go ahead and rebuild CMS platforms from scratch, because Sanity handles the whole thing. Head over to dashboard and you can set up your agent's profile, start listing your properties. In this case, if I was to go ahead and set up our account right now, we handle our first onboarding, and then we go back to the dashboard, and then this will be the agent onboarding as well. Albert says, all this AI is too fast, man. I wasn't in the topic from the beginning. I ignored it. Now I feel behind. Don't worry, dude. Just stay with me. I got your back. I'm going to make sure everyone doesn't feel left out and left behind, right, guys? I'm not going to do the onboarding here again, but you guys can feel free to check out the beginning demo where we talked about all of this. We had the listings, the ability to add the listing, the lead inbox, all of that good stuff. So that way, if you wanted to buy your dream house, you can come on here, click contact agent, you'll get a little ping here. Michael will get a little ping over there, and then he'll be able to call you back and basically set up a meeting so you can go ahead and buy your favorite property, a full Zillow clone in action. And by the way, if you launch something like this, you can go ahead and actually have people paying to basically list the properties on the site. You've created a full platform to allow that to happen. That's pretty powerful, guys. And that means a passive stream running in the back, right? So it's pretty awesome. Little cool tech demo as to how that can all work. And remember, as always, guys, use the links in the description to support your boy, aka Sunny, me on screen. I appreciate you all. I was using Cursor today. I got a question saying which ID are you using right now? But yeah, thanks so much, guys. And as always, it's your boy Sunny, aka Papa React. And I will see you again. The Papa fam is back in full swing, guys. Peace.